you click, you should check out Video Only because they've got below prime deals. That's right. Top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only, because if you do, you'll be sorry.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
'Tis the season. No, not that season, but it soon will be. And that means heating season. It's hard to think about right now, but this is the absolute best time to prepare for a warm and comfy winter. Why now? Because if you wait until it's cold, good luck. Now is the time to make the switch to a high-efficiency boiler from Navient. Their condensing boilers are Energy Star certified, a compact wall-hung design, and backed by a strong warranty. Take advantage of up to $600 in federal tax credit. Find your local Navient installer at BoilerComfort.com. That's BoilerComfort.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's Oregon versus Washington week on The Fan.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland, and Odyssey Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Stanford's. The classic American steakhouse has exactly what you've been craving. Visit them in Clackamas, Tanasbourne, or online at stanfords.com. First on The Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams now ranked in the latest AP Top 25 poll. Washington and Oregon remain the league's top-ranked teams at number 7 and 8. USC falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays put at number 15. Utah up 2 spots to 16. UCLA back in the poll at 18 after beating Washington State, who fell 6 spots down to number 19. It's a put-up-or-shut-up week in the Pac-12. Number 8 Ducks will be in Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday. It's a 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on The Fan starting at 8 a.m. Oregon are 2.5-point underdogs. Other ranked matchups in the Pac-12 this weekend. Number 15 Oregon State hosting number 18 UCLA. That's 5 o'clock on Fox. The Beavers are 4-point favorites. Number 10 USC will be in South Bend to face number 21 Notre Dame. Trojans are 2.5-point dogs in the 4:30 kick on NBC. Week 5 in the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites. Both National League Division Series in action tonight in a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 2:30. Phillies with a 1-0 series lead at the Braves for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 each. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller. That's a 6:07 first pitch. For sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Jeff Russ at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland sports leader.
Go deeper on the Trailblazers. The Rose Garden Report with host Sean Highkin. Download the Rose Garden Report on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. This is Danny and it's a grudge match.
I have a lot of hate in my heart.
The stakes are high.
I love the Petty Olympics.
This is an Oregon versus Washington week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company off Hall Boulevard in Beaverton. Come tailgate at the largest grilling retailer center in the Pacific Northwest this Saturday or visit them online at grillworkspdx.com.
Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Good afternoon! Wow.
was weird.
Whoa, somebody spent all Saturday night yelling at his television, and his voice is a little gone.
Hitching the giddy up there. That just stopped. That was interesting. That actually just stopped working.
I like what Russ did there. He psyched me out. He had me thinking like, hey, just a normal week, just another week. Nope, it's not another week.
No, it's not.
And we're not playing with that BS. It's rivalry week. It's not just another week. We got the remix with the updates going, or the opens in.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I'm here for it. It feels good to have like big football on the West Coast.
Hate in your heart?
Yeah, sure.
By rivalry week, you of course mean USC Notre Dame.
Well, you have USC Notre Dame. You've got Oregon versus Washington.
That one.
I think the game you're thinking about took a little bit of a hit this past weekend. With Notre Dame losing. And then you got a top 25 matchup. It's not a rivalry by any means, but UCLA and Oregon State. Maybe for the guys in 67 that lost to the Giant Killers team,
there you go.
where they had Beaven. They had like a Heisman Trophy candidate at UCLA, and they thought they were going to be awesome, and they lost to the Oregon State Beavers Giant Killers team. Maybe that's a rivalry.
Okay.
With a very, very small group of people that
digging back 60 years. Okay.
May be alive or not alive at this point. I don't know. But we're going to make it a rivalry.
I mean, we're going to have we're sportsing really hard here, but like we're the Pac-12 is going to have the focus of the college football world this weekend because every other game pretty much sucks.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. It's going to be nice.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very Pac-12 focused this weekend.
No brainer on College Game Day going up to Seattle this weekend.
Yeah, no, not a doubt.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
No, it is.
I hope it doesn't rain. I've been looking at what the weather's going to be like.
What are we looking at?
It's like 50% chance of rain. And you know this.
Which means it's going to
rain. It could say it's not going to rain at all, and then it'll just be dumping.
It's Seattle.
Yeah.
On the water.
That's right. No, all of those things that you just said are true.
Mm-hmm. True.
All of them. All right. Yeah, we are sportsing pretty hard.
Well, we did have a monumental sports weekend.
Wasn't that fun?
It was.
Was it really monumental?
I mean,
was it monumental?
Did not every time slot deliver in college
did.
football and NFL?
NFL.
They all delivered this weekend. It was fantastic.
It was a really good weekend for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single time slot, including Pac-12 After Dark. That was fun.
That After Dark's too hard. Too hard.
Why? Because USC had to win in 3 overtimes?
I have not chewed in over 5 years. I was about to go to the corner store and grab a can of chew.
Oh, really?
Oh, buddy.
You were that nervous. You were a wreck.
Not even nervous, just flustered.
Oh.
Just so done. So done.
It's so over it. I was looking at Jed Fish and calling him a coward openly. Why?
Multiple times because he refused to go for 2. Just put me out of my misery already.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. That's
dragging into triple.
You
overtime.
wanted your team to lose, huh?
I did not want it to go on anymore. Did not want it to go on anymore. I was sitting there just watching this stupid compile, and I was just like, I can't handle this anymore.
All right, we'll get through it. We got a lot that we need to get to today. I mean, truly, a ton that we need to get to, including, I think this is the good spot to start. We had P1 Rufio who texted in. He said, happy Monday. Feels like fall. Cowboys got crushed, and apparently Danny took a lot of late-night poops. Decent start to the week. What was going on with you this weekend? Were you arguing with people on the internet again? Because we know that
I was just tweeting through it.
You were just tweeting through it, just going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not from the toilet. Just that was your nervous energy coming out during the SC game.
My setup at home, I've got my office. I've got my big screen TV, and then I've got 3 monitors. And so I just kind of watch everything. But my computer's right there.
Okay.
So I can just hammer away on the old keyboard quite easily. It's like the old crisis command center.
It is. It's quite possibly the worst thing that you could have at your fingertips at that time.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one video that exists of Danny watching your beloved Cardinals
fall apart,
implode in not even like a big playoff game.
No.
It was a wild card playoff game, and you were a mess, man. Like it didn't look like you were handling things very well.
No.
to have that, like, and you knew you were being taped. You were still unhinged.
I didn't until later. Like I knew you taped me earlier, and I thought that was it. I didn't realize you were doing it the second time.
All right.
But yeah, no,
You tweet so much. I want to go through here, and I want to look at some of the tweets that maybe you did have. I just saw the word "accidentally," and I like that. But that's from yesterday.
That's from yesterday.
My goodness, boy, you tweet a lot.
Oh, I did have FanFest too. Yesterday.
But how many FanFest related tweets did you have?
Probably like 10, 12, maybe more.
Oh my gosh, I think you had more than that, dude. You had way more than that.
Okay. I mean,
I like the new Blazers floor though.
Yeah, that looks good. I mean, I do have 98.4 thousand tweets.
Oh my gosh, yeah. 98,000 tweets?
Mm-hmm.
That is... How long have you been on Twitter for?
2011?
2011? Russ, will you do the math on that? So, 2011...
Less than 10,000 a year.
Less than 10,000 a year? It's not a car, man. It's not like... It's not like you're getting good mileage on this thing. It's just,
honestly, if we're doing the math,
I drove to work and back.
I probably have 240 to 280 a game during the season for Blazers. I would bet it's probably 200.
How many tweets per day is Danny Meringue's average of? If you're almost at 100,000 tweets in 12 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not good at math. Somebody else can do that in their head, but that ain't. I'm not.
I'll pull up the actual day so we can actually get like an actual date of it.
Yeah. You were retweeting a lot of people.
Yes, I do that a lot.
Yeah. During the game, and most of it was to mock Alex Grinch.
Yes. A lot of that.
Sweet merciful Jesus, I need a whole pack of cigarettes. That came.
Mm-hmm.
There's just ha ha ha. That seems like a manic tweet.
Oh, that was.
I'm a little worried.
That was the field goal.
We have sweet Mary and Joseph. FMLY. I've died 4 times tonight. You can't use the paddles on me again. Do not resuscitate. Just a picture. Who is that smoking? Who is that smoking the cigarette in that picture? Am I supposed to know who that is? You just have
Yeah, no, I repeatedly used that one.
You have Hank Hill shooting himself in the head with a garden hose.
Yep.
How do you gain yards on that play? Just in all caps. So you're yelling.
That was the toss back to Tedero McMillan on the trick play.
Okay.
He was going to throw it, and then somehow he gained like 7 yards.
Go for 2 and end it. Put me out of my misery, please. I'm begging. Then fire Grinch. I think you got most of these 98,000 during that game. My God, you could just scroll forever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So you went through your emotions this weekend, huh?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Whole litter of kittens.
Okay.
Whole litter. Stuff. People, I'm so much more like rational and objective and processed when I'm talking about the Blazers. It's part of my job.
Yeah.
With these guys, no, this is full fan, full on the cliff.
That's one of my favorite things. That's one of my favorite things about sports is when people truly do come unhinged in those moments.
USC and St. Louis are the 2 teams that I come completely unhinged for.
Russ, did you do the math on how many tweets that is?
I just I rounded it off to 100,000 and divided by 12 years came out to about 8,300 a year, which comes out to just shy of about 23 a day.
23 tweets a day.
It's really not that many when you think about it.
Yes, it is, Danny.
Not that many.
That is one tweet that's almost a tweet for every hour of the day.
That's nothing.
Okay, it's okay. I'll put it to you this way. Remember that old game, the drinking game, Very Dangerous, the Century Club?
Yeah.
Where everybody's like, it's just you take a shot of beer every minute for 100 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guess what? That's dangerous because you get hammered drunk. Because it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but when you actually break it down, you say that is one tweet for every hour that you are alive for the last 12 years.
Sure.
You've tweeted on average every hour on the hour for 12 straight years.
Sure.
And that's not a lot.
I failed to see the problem here.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. You are a content generator. You are a content machine over here. But that is a lot of tweeting when you put it down into those terms. My challenge for you is be better, man. Be better.
More tweets?
The next 12 years, I want 25 tweets a day.
I mean, I can beat that. That's easy. Stream of consciousness, man. It happens.
Okay, and then there's this part. Because I know there are people that I have unfollowed for this reason. Said I had to unfollow Danny since he tweets an insane amount.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I've done that before. I don't think you're there. I don't think you're there. But if you go to a specific person for something specific, like
sure.
A lot of the
people I get people who are just like stick to Blazers. I'm like, I don't care what you think.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. I think one thing that they could actually benefit Twitter, since Elon is up to just like, hey.
Oh, you got some good ideas for Twitter?
Yeah, I do. Like if you follow somebody and you fall into this trap, like you can set the tweets for a specific. Like, you know how you can mute certain words?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I were just on your profile, I'll go to your profile, and it's like, I just want to mute Danny and USC. You know? Like, if I can mute Danny and USC tweets, but I can get all of the Blazers stuff, I think that'd be great.
No, so you got to sift through it, buddy.
Well, no, I'm going to sift through all your garbage. I'm going to Pedro Gomez you. Like, I'm going to treat you like Barry Bonds. I'm going to be sitting at the end of your driveway, and I'm Pedro Gomez going through your trash, trying to find lawyer correspondence. Like, that is, that R.I.P. Pedro Gomez. But I'm going to go through your garbage, and that garbage is called @DannyMeringue on Twitter. I'm here for all of it. It's a blessing.
Subscribe for free.
Hey, you know what? And this is the thing that I've kind of settled on is, I just won't go into Twitter. Like, if I know that, somebody's having that meltdown. Like, I spent very little time on Twitter this past weekend.
Sure.
Because, one, I was very busy. But two, everybody became a geopolitical pundit this past
Oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of, well, obviously getting into it because, most people are, I'll be blunt, are too stupid to understand the intricacies of everything involved. Unless you've got a lot of background in this, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Just
sometimes less is more. Like there's a lot of bad going on in this world right now. God. Yeah, there's a lot of bad going on. I feel for all the people that are involved because it is. I mean, this is literally centuries.
Yes, that's
centuries.
Longer. I didn't tweet about it, and I know, and this is not to get arrogant about it, I know significantly about the process, history, and conflict in that part of the world than most people. It's very frustrating, to say the least. But yes, I 100%, which is probably why I was tweeting through the sports side of it so hard.
Yeah. I just really am worried about you, like this texter is too, on the Vancouver Ford text line 503-864-6326. I'm really concerned about future Danny when USC has to play Oregon and Washington like back to back. Like that, I do worry about you.
No. See, here's the thing.
You're going to get just super petty with people.
Yes.
There it is. Okay.
Yes.
That's what's going to get you through.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm going in. This people don't understand this. I go in self-defeated into almost everything with the teams that I care about.
Boy, that may be even more concerning when it comes to that volume of tweets that you sent out about USC and Arizona.
But the flip side of this is, what it allows me to do is, when they do pull it out, when they do win, when they do upset, then I get to be just the most onerous, hedonistic monster on Twitter humanly possible.
I like this.
It's fun.
I like
it's about me. It's not about the consumer here. It's about how I get to feel about this.
We have we know you have a lot of hate in your heart.
Indeed.
It is rivalry week. I don't care which side of this rivalry you sit on. Oregon, Washington, maybe you're a Coug and a Beav and you hate both of them.
To watch them both crash.
When you have a hate-filled week, that's what the Vancouver Ford text line is for. 503-864-6326. We'll have some Oregon Washington for you every single day this week. It is a top 10 matchup. It's one of the biggest in all of college football thus far this season. But today it is a Football Monday. We recap what happened over the weekend on the gridiron. And hey, do we have a little baseball? Are we going to talk a little baseball today too? Because
we have to because the Orioles are struggling, and
Orioles
Kershaw just managed to do something of historic proportion,
which is incredible considering Clayton Kershaw's history in the postseason.
Truly, it's both mind-boggling and not stunning at all.
Yeah. All right. 503-864-6326. That's the Vancouver Ford fan text line. Where we start this bad boy. Which team had the biggest win this weekend? Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to
Prime Time with Isaac and Sue.
I would have never guessed that a dog could live 31. Happy birthday, Bobby.
5 years ago, he collapsed with problems breathing. They thought that might be the end. Not the case.
5 years. I'm ticking. So wait, the dog's 26. He collapsed. You're like, okay, fine.
Yes.
Like this poor dog, and it lived 5 more years. It's still going.
It's still going.
The home of Prime Time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7, 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Papa Murphy's changed the way you pizza. I-84 westbound, you have slow traffic from 33rd Avenue to I-5. I-5 is slowing in both directions between I-84 and I-405. I'm Victor Zaragoza with traffic.
If you're like me, the last thing you want to start your Sunday with is a cold shower. That's why I trust my friends over at Three Mountains Plumbing to take care of all of my plumbing and electrical needs. Three Mountains Plumbing has helped homeowners with their plumbing, drain, and water heater issues for over 23 years, and now they're bringing the same expertise and commitment to help with your electrical needs too. Mention 1080 The Fan for an $89 water heater tune-up special, and you can call them at 503-714-6460 or book online at threemountainsplumbing.com. Three Mountains Plumbing and Now Electrical. CCB number 169499.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene, Video Only.
Vicks VapoStick delivers soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. Vicks VapoStick, comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? Because everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
on 1080 The Fan.
503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. All right.
Where are you going to start with this? We have so much football.
Best win of the weekend. Best win. Which team had the best win of the weekend? And we can go NFL. You can go college. You can have the Hackett Bowl, where Nathaniel Hackett got revenge on the Broncos, but I don't think anybody's calling that a great win.
No, I mean it was not a great win, but it was a fun win.
You've got
sense of the petty Olympics.
And watching Sean Payton get his lunch. And did you see what Robert Saleh said to him after the game?
No.
At the post-game handshake? I'm going to take the word of professional lip readers. And by professional lip readers, I mean people on Twitter.
Yes.
They, and it kind of looked like it, so I'm going to run with it.
Sure.
Is that it appeared that all he said to Sean Payton was stay humble.
Yikes.
Which is fantastic.
I would have drawn something like headlines. How about them headlines?
Yeah, he just gave him the stay humble. And watching Sean Payton look at Russell Wilson after he got strip sacked and say, the back is your hot, throw to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Pure gold in comedy, because Nathaniel Hackett's probably just sitting on the other side of the sideline going, I told you. I told you. Like, I may not know when to kick a field goal, but I told y'all it wasn't just all me. So you have that game. You got 49ers over the Cowboys. 42-10. Does it get much more emphatic than that?
No. Oh, well, that's not true. It does get more emphatic than that. It's the
70-20.
Yes. Also, the absolute throttling that those Golden Domers got at the hands by a little red bird.
Ooh, yeah, that's another one too. And hey, how about this? We talked about last week the
Get No Respect Bowls.
The Rodney Dangerfield teams. All of them put up damn good fights without Kentucky. But we also prefaced that Kentucky-Georgia game with
the one.
This is Georgia. This is the time where Georgia says, let's turn it on. And Carson Beck looked amazing. All of the teams that we said could have the no respect weekends, they either won or they put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, Maryland was in it with Ohio State for a while.
Until Ohio State outscored them 20-0.
Okay.
But they had a 17-10 lead, and then the wheels came off.
Yeah, you had Tua's brother out there dialing it up and dealing early, and then 2 picks, and then it kind of wheels fell off.
That sounds familiar, though.
Yeah.
But
we've heard that story before.
You got Louisville, Notre Dame, and how about the Red River rivalry, where you have Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners taking on the Texas Longhorns? And look, my favorite rivalry in college football, it is still
Texas
in place.
back.
It is Texas versus being back, and currently being back picks up another big win.
Back up on the table. How about another one here? How about the Beavs putting up 52?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm not going to put that as the best win of the weekend because they should win. They should beat Cal, right?
But I mean, 52.
52 is good, and the offense looked pretty good because you didn't have to do it with just Damian Martinez and Deshaun Fenwick.
And then, of course, there was the gift that keeps on giving, which is Mario Cristobal's game management, and Georgia Tech pulling out the Hail Mary.
Yeah, we got more on that game later.
I mean,
but that's not a great win by Georgia Tech. That is a horrific loss by
Miami.
But how about UCLA over Washington State?
Yeah, I mean, good Lord.
We can
they
put that one
shut
in here.
Cam Ward down.
All right, so let's go to our finalists. Are Oklahoma over Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one is, when you lose 49-0 last year in a rivalry game, And then Brent Venables just comes out this year.
The fire hose is fully inserted in my mouth here. We've been blowing and going.
And they win that game. They come back and they go to the Texas State Fair. They're in the Cotton Bowl. And they are able to win and do it on a last-second touchdown and have Dylan Gabriel go out and throw for nearly 300 yards and rush for 100 yards. Like, he was incredible to watch, Dylan Gabriel was. The defense, forcing turnovers, getting defensive points on the board. Like, that rivalry game, it gave you everything you could have imagined. Then you have Louisville, Notre Dame. We'll have that one as another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's an impact win for Louisville.
That's a massive win. Their only wins over a top 10 opponents in back-to-back years came the last 2 years against Sam Hartman in Wake Forest and Sam Hartman and Notre Dame.
Yeah, Sam Hartman's got a Louisville problem.
Yeah, he does.
They
got the book on him. Whatever it is, they've got it. And then I think we got to put a poll up on this, right?
Yes, we do.
So we'll go with those two college games and then Niners Cowboys.
Yeah, I'd like to maybe throw UCLA's hat in the ring on that one. Okay. UCLA getting up off the mat and beating the unranked Cougs. I know the Coug fan, or not the unranked, the 13th ranked Cougs after UCLA was unranked for one loss, and it was like people are like, oh, they're dead, they must suck. No, they lost on the road to Utah, and people somehow were like, we're ready to write them off and send them packing for the season. No. That was gonna be a great game. UCLA was favored in that game. But the way that played out and the way they were able to stifle Cam Ward, which to this point nobody had been able to do, that was amazing. That was amazing. But I think if we can go other. We can put other. If people want to put in UCLA, Washington State, they can in the comments. But let's go Oklahoma over Texas, Louisville over Notre Dame, 49ers over Cowboys. Because that's the other thing, though. That 49ers-Cowboys game, boy almighty, that game was a butt-kicking of galactic proportions.
I may or may not have come in here this morning with a very, very serious, stern look on my face and said very loudly to a couple of salespeople, man, did you guys see that train wreck? Did you guys get the message on that? Playing it off entirely. And one of our sales guys, Joe Fisher, huge Cowboys fan. Yeah. So it was entirely to troll him. And I was like, and they're like, no, train wreck? What are you talking about? Yeah, no, the hype train. That was the Dallas Cowboys that went spiraling off the cliff. That one. Did anybody else catch that last night?
Why you gotta do Cowboys? Actually, they deserve it.
They deserve every last bit.
That's the fan base that does deserve it.
And that's why.
Wow. Dak Prescott starting the post-game press conference last week with, oh, you guys want to go motivate me, piss me off to start the week. I appreciate that. Burp. That was a tough look for him. Burp. Which game is it for you?
I want to say Louisville, just because that's a big-time win, but I think I'm leaning towards Oklahoma. That's a hell of a game. It's a hell of a game.
Yeah, I'm going Oklahoma as well. I think Oklahoma and what they were able to do against the Texas Longhorns after getting beat 49-0 a year ago, and to turn that around and go toe-to-toe with them the way that they did and the way that game played out, that says a lot to me about Brent Venables and his staff. And make no mistake about it, Brent Venables is a lunatic. And he may be the complete opposite of what Lincoln Riley is as a leader and a coach, which explains a lot of their struggles from a year ago, right? Their struggles from a year ago were you had a roster that was recruited by Lincoln Riley, that was offensive-oriented. He took the best pieces from that and took them with him to USC, and other guys transferred out of the program. And, look, it was a tough reset for them. Mm-hmm. How quickly he's been able to do it, and with guys like Peyton Bowen, remember when he was committed to three different schools over 3 days?
Yeah.
And he ends up going to Oklahoma. Like, that was, in having those guys be impact players immediately, it's impressive to see that quick turnaround.
Also getting Dylan Gabriel healthy.
Dylan Gabriel
super useful.
Was a bona fide dude.
Yeah.
Like, he was bona fide in that game. Like, that was an impressive performance by him through the air and on the ground. And the fact that you have this defensive coach and you have all those pieces move. And we talked about this on Friday. I was going down and saying, like, Oklahoma's offense has been explosive all season long.
It was just who they played, so we didn't have a measuring stick.
Their defense has been suffocating, but like they've been really good on both sides of the football. And Venables found a way to take a team that had been kind of stripped down and rebuild it very quickly. And everybody else is getting their flowers for doing this.
Sure.
You know, Lincoln Riley's doing it at USC. Yeah. Dion's obviously getting it at Colorado. Dan Lanning has been able to get it through his use of the portal, but they were recruiting at a really high level before he got here. Nobody had been talking about Oklahoma doing that same thing, which is using the portal to their advantage, mixing in these young recruits and getting them ready to play, and resetting an identity and a culture of a program almost overnight.
Can I say that everyone's going to highlight the final drive by Oklahoma as the thing that, you know, that's won them the game, everything. Yeah. To me, that's not what won them the game. I know technically it is. It was how they started.
Yeah.
I thought Texas came out really flat. I thought Oklahoma came out, punched them in the mouth, and obviously Ewers has the early interception. The second one's not on him. It's a batted ball. You know, that happens. But I thought Oklahoma brought the noise.
They did.
And that I didn't think Texas was flat. I just thought Oklahoma brought it earlier and more often, and that was the difference in the game. Not Texas falling apart down the stretch with back-to-back broken coverage.
Yeah.
It was that Texas had to scramble for 3.5 quarters.
That was one of my I don't necessarily like Emmanuel Acho all that much. You know, he's
Mr. Texas
and very takey, but. He said Texas versus OU first quarter update. Oklahoma's forced 2 turnovers. Texas had a successful fake punt. Texas blocked a punt for a touchdown. Oklahoma reversed on a kickoff called back for a forward lateral. Texas running into the punter on a 4th down. Welcome to college football. It was drunk. It was at a state fair, and it felt like a carnival ride that entire game. And that's what rivalry games get ugly. They get messy. They get weird. And that is my favorite part about college football. The NFL is so buttoned up, and it is week to week. It is you more or less know what you're going to be getting.
Sure. These are
you
kids.
still have college kids.
They're kids.
In rivalries, everything gets run. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most about this Oregon and Washington game this weekend, is that when you have 2 teams that are rivals with each other and the stakes are as high as they are.
Yeah, but after last year, I think it's going to ratchet it up quite a bit.
And now you have... like Oregon, Washington, it could play out just like that Texas-Oklahoma game where
it's the ball last.
It's going to get weird. And that is so damn fun.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a fantastic weekend of football.
So good. And that was, you mentioned, though, everybody does give credit to the final drive for Oklahoma. I mean, the poise of your team, like you learn a lot about the mettle of your team and how they operate at the end of a game. With 15 seconds to go. To have that 3-yard touchdown pass to end this thing and just be like crotch chop. Guess what's next?
Back it up.
Nothing. That to me is like those are the springboards that can push you even further this season.
The flip side of that is I thought Ewers' bounce back after the picks were incredible. Yeah. I think he hit 24 straight. I mean, incredible. The quarterback play, and as good as Oklahoma is defensively, Texas comes out better in this game, and they probably win.
With all that said, Texas has 1 loss. They ain't losing again.
No. They're both really good teams.
All right. That's what I have as my game of the week. You can vote on which game is the game of the week at Danny and Dusty. It's a poll up on Twitter right now, and you can go vote for it at Danny and Dusty on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it. Coming up next, so let's talk about one of those other games of the week. The 49ers absolutely dismantle and embarrass the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football last night. 42-10, that's a walloping of galactic proportions. And it was all gas, no breaks for the 49ers. Right now, here's Big Kahuna with SportsCenter.
This is Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air, serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge, online at aneheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. First on The Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams ranked in the latest AP Top 25 poll. Washington and Oregon remain the league's top-ranked teams at number 7 and 8. USC falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays put at number 15. Utah moves up 2 to 16, and UCLA back in the poll at number 18 after beating Washington State, who falls 6 spots to number 19. It is a put-up-or-shut-up week in the Pac-12. Number 8 Ducks will be in Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday, 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on the Fan starting at 8 o'clock. Oregon are 2.5-point underdogs. Other ranked matchups in the Pac-12 this week. Number 15 Oregon State hosting number 18 UCLA. That's 5 o'clock on Fox. The Beavers are 4-point favorites, and number 10 UCLA will be in South Bend to face number 21 Notre Dame. Trojans are 2.5-point dogs in the 4:30 kick on NBC. Week 5 in the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites. Even Ian Rappaport of NFL Network reporting Jets guard Elijah Vera Tucker out for the season with a torn Achilles. Both National League Division Series in action today in a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 2:30. Phillies with a 1-0 series lead. They're at the Braves for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 game apiece. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller, 6:07 first pitch. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland sports leader.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan.
Don't let the game play you. Sports betting is popular among Oregonians, and those who bet on sports are at an increased risk of developing a gambling problem. Learn more at opgr.org or call 1-877-MY-LIMIT. This message is brought to you by VOA Oregon and the Multnomah County Behavioral Health Division.
Reynolds Defense Firms, one promise. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. Trust is a big deal to me, both personally and professionally, and I believe at the core of trust is a very simple concept. Be genuine. Be genuine in what you say, be genuine in what you do. And I believe being genuine is what makes Reynolds Defense Firm so successful at helping good people facing DUI charges. There's no pretense here. What you see is what you get. We do what we say we are going to do, and we don't make promises we can't keep. In fact, there's only one promise we make to our clients because there's only one thing within our complete control. We promise every client we represent that we will do the absolute best we can for them. And since DUI law is our specialty, and we have a fantastic team of lawyers and staff, our absolute best can be pretty amazing. If you or someone you believe in faces a DUI charge, call Reynolds Defense Firm today, because you want Reynolds Defense Firm on your side. Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
Want a job that makes a difference? Join the TriMet team and help keep the Portland area moving. We have immediate openings for bus drivers, starting at over $27 an hour and a hiring bonus of $7,500. That's right, a $7,500 hiring bonus. We also provide great benefits, including health insurance, a retirement plan, paid sick time, paid holidays, and lots more. Learn more at trimet.org/drive. Again, that's trimet.org/drive.
The weather has turned and it's time for indoor golf on the world's best simulators. X-Golf is the home of indoor golf. X-Golf Tualatin, X-Golf Vancouver, and soon X-Golf Beaverton. We've made it more affordable now with our fall special. $45 per hour weekdays, $55 per hour weekends. Not per golfer, but per bay. And we've got a full bar and great food. Yes, we do parties. Get your Christmas parties booked now. The dates go quickly. Go to xgolfpnw.com for tee times.
What's up, everybody? I'm Danny Parkins, based out of Chicago. This is my buddy Andrew Filipponi. He's based out of Pittsburgh. You really got to check out our podcast, First and Pod.
Twice a week, we're going to break down the NFL after Thursday Night Football and Sunday Night Football. It's every team, it's every game, it's all 32 teams. We give you a complete picture, and we get into it. We don't kiss each other's fannies on this show.
New episodes of First and Pod available when you wake up every Monday and Friday morning throughout the football season in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? Because everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station.
Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper.
We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
This is Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
On 1080 The Fan.
42-10, and don't kid yourself, it wasn't even that close. The San Francisco 49ers absolutely bludgeoned the Cowboys last night, Sunday Night Football. A statement of statements from San Francisco, and as they improved to 5-0 on this young season. Cowboys falling to 3-2. Dak Prescott, 3 interceptions yesterday, and it was ugly, man. The 49ers were getting home and flustering Dak Prescott. You had an inability to run the football by one team and the ability to run at will by the other. It was as clinical as it gets as a beatdown in the NFL, 42-10.
Typically, snuff films are harder to find than national broadcast TV.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case last night, as a absolute slaughter was shown to the entire world, and with no regard for parental guidance. It was pretty nasty. There was nothing redemptive about the Cowboys last night. Literally nothing. And that's not even hyperbole. There was nothing redemptive. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't pass pro. They couldn't do anything.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is a bigger deal about the Cowboys being fraudulent or about the 49ers being that great, or both. Because I think it's both. I think the Cowboys aren't that good and the Cowboys are that great. Because if you take a look now, who have the Cowboys beaten? They've beaten the worst team in football.
Yeah.
They've lost to a team in the Cardinals who's outright tanking. They've gotten the crap kicked out of them by the 49ers. The Patriots might be one of the 4 worst teams in football who they beat.
Easy now.
Buddy, I'm
You're not
sorry.
wrong.
You're right there with them. You and me are riding the struggle bus this year.
No, the Raiders are better. Patriots suck.
The Cowboys have beaten no one.
Yeah.
And they have padded their resume across the board with nothing productive. And the one time they played a great team, they got annihilated in every facet of the game.
Yeah. And look, that win over the Jets was right after
Rodgers.
Right after Rodgers goes down, and
they're scrambling,
they
trying to
pounced
figure out
on
what
him.
they want. Yep.
But now we're going to start finding out what this Cowboys team is. And look, everybody's going to go down the road of, they're overrated. They're still going to be a tough out, and it's not where you're at in October, but where you are in December. The fact of the matter, though, is that we've been down this road before with the Cowboys and with Dak Prescott, if we're going to be quite frank about it.
He's a slightly above average quarterback, and that's fine. But pretending that he's more than that at this many years in is...
And playing for the Cowboys inflates that. It just naturally does.
Sure.
And they have had a lot of quarterbacks that have been below average, to be quite honest. But then he replaces Tony Romo, who was a better than above average quarterback. And the expectations are he's going to be great. You go and you get Mike McCarthy. He's going to be awesome.
Texas Coast, baby.
They blame Kellen Moore. And there's blame to go around. But there's also the quarterback is not a guy that will carry you to wins. And on the flip side of that, we had this discussion last week, and I said, look, Brock Purdy is not the game manager that he came into this league as. He has kind of proven week in, week out, he is improving upon every performance, and he's getting better.
There are plenty of quarterbacks in the league that we've seen who have had. Let's use an apples to apples comparison. A young quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use Desmond Ridder. Do the Atlanta Falcons have a ton of weapons?
Yeah.
The answer is yes, and they have them at every level, and they have multiple at every level. Yet Desmond Ridder doesn't look like Brock Purdy. And it's not just because Arthur Smith isn't Kyle Shanahan. It's because Desmond Ridder isn't as good as Brock Purdy. That game that I watched Brock Purdy play last night, I mentioned it on Twitter, one of my thousands of tweets last night.
That one.
It reminded me of Rich Gannon in 2002 Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos when he went and completed. It ended up being 29 straight, but they took one away because they said, I believe, Tim Brown was out of bounds. It ended up not being, but the record got. Anyways, long story short, it was one of the most incredible displays of inch-perfect accuracy I had ever seen. And last night, and it wasn't the greatest performance ever. It was one of the most accurate performances I'd ever seen. He was throwing over the second level by mere millimeters.
Yep, the over-under throw.
Just absolutely. And there was something about when you see a guy throw the ball and it doesn't leave his hand like a cannon, it kind of floats in there. That touch that is just, it was pristine. There were 7 or 8 throws in a row. It was to Ayuk. It was to Debo. It was to Juszczyk. It was to Kittle. And it was just, they were so perfect that they did not break stride. They did not have to turn their shoulders. They did not have to turn their heads. There was nothing but continued efficient movement.
Yeah.
Your hands went up. The ball fell in. They kept going. And there's something about that when it's just so rhythmic. You go, oh, that's it. And he was dialed last night. And that is not game manager stuff. That is in your bag. And last night, he was in his bag.
Look, he has got the luxury of having the best weapons available to him.
And nobody's going to argue that.
He has the luxury of having one of the most innovative offensive minds in football.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Shanahan has proven that over the years and over his previous stops as well. Look at no further than how great offensively the Atlanta Falcons were when he was there, and then the cliff that they fell off after Kyle Shanahan left. With all of that being said, though, you still have to go and execute. And what I will go back to is Jimmy Garoppolo was really stinking good with the same group and the same coach.
Mm-hmm.
They're even better now.
Significantly. It's not like, squint and see it. They're drastically better.
They are better now, and it has a lot to do with Brock Purdy. And I think that he is proving everybody that is saying, no. He's proving them wrong with the throws that he's making, the difficulty of them. And that is another win that you just kind of sit there and you go, oh boy, this is going to be a scary team. But ultimately what it all comes down to is, can they stay healthy? It's a war of attrition.
Yes.
And we've already seen Dallas has gotten bit by the injury bug. Does Trayvon Diggs win that game for him? No, he doesn't. But he makes it a little bit easier.
Sure,
right?
Maybe Micah Parsons doesn't get his butt handed to him by Kyle Juszczyk because he's got a little bit more time.
Maybe the most delusional comment of the weekend being Micah Parsons saying, we're not that far off.
Yeah.
No, you are.
Compared to the 49ers.
You are.
You're leaps and bounds. You are 2 classes away from them.
Outside of his position, specifically, I don't know if they are better at any position than the Niners.
You didn't hear his name once last night.
No, but he is still
he's still elite, but
still one of the best.
That shows you just how good that 49ers team is that a guy like Micah Parsons you didn't hear from once.
Whew. All right, that was a good old-fashioned butt kicking, man.
We don't get I guess we do because we did have a 70-point butt kicking.
We did have a 70-point butt kicking.
But that felt personal last night for the 49ers.
Yeah.
They got to the goal line, and instead of just doing the old Bush push, which is guaranteed points, we got the Shanahan special where you got the naked boot out to Juszczyk in the flat just so he could style on him.
30 years running, they run that play action on the goal line, and whoop, there goes the fullback.
Wide open.
All right, 503-864-6326. That was a huge win for the San Francisco 49ers, just kind of the statement, the exclamation point. But yesterday kind of just proved again that the odds makers in Vegas, they know exactly what they're doing.
Pretty good what they do.
They know exactly what they're doing. And the cream continues to rise to the top. And it got me wondering about something about this season. Danny and Dusty on The Fan.
It's The Fan on demand. Service Patriots brings you fan podcasts on pace for 2.5 million listens and downloads in 2023.
Oh my God, that is impressive.
Is your heater safe? Why replace it when Service Patriots can restore it? Get their $59 27-point furnace tune-up and safety check, including a free 1-inch filter. They'll also check your AC for free. Go to ServicePatriots.com. Service Patriots Podcasts on 1080.
Yeah.
The Fan.
Isaac Ropp for Langdon Farms. One thing we know, the rain is coming, so you're going to want to play golf at a course committed to quality drainage. No golf course in our area is better in the fall and winter than Langdon Farms. Top-notch conditions at Langdon Farms, just off I-5 in Wilsonville.
Are you thinking about getting a new TV this week at prime prices? Maybe a Samsung, LG, or a Sony? Before you click, you should check out Video Only, because they've got below prime deals. That's right. Top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only, because if you do, you'll be sorry.
Auto accident? Make the first call the most important. Call Leif's Auto Collision Centers first. Why? Because we've got your back. We'll call in the claim, pick up your vehicle anywhere in the Northwest, negotiate the repairs, fix it to factory specs. For over 30 years, Leif's has been the advocate for consumers. Other shops? They work for the insurance companies. Discount repairs, imitation parts, keeping the insurer happy. At Leif's, we place your interests first. Add loaners, deductible assistance, pickup and delivery, always on your side.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structure, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Sponsored by TriMet.org/MaxOperator. Want to drive a Max train? Join the TriMet team as a bus driver, and you can become a Max operator faster than ever with their new Fast Track to Max. Learn more at TriMet.org/MaxOperator.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
On 1080 The Fan.
I was watching the NFL, and it's amazing how many blowouts that we've gone through. We talked about Sunday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
But last week you had, or a couple weeks ago, you had the 50-point drubbing by the Miami Dolphins, where they put up 70 points on Denver. You had just yesterday as well. I mean, we don't think of these as blowouts because I think we get numb to it in college football. But you had the Bears on Thursday night win by 20, which I didn't think that was possible, period.
No.
Then yesterday you have the Saints absolutely manhandle the Patriots 34-0. You had the Lions in a 42 spot beat the Panthers 42-24. That offense looks super fun.
Super good.
And when they get Amon-Ra St. Brown back, when Jameson Williams is actually a guy that they are scheming into that system, and then if they can run the ball as effectively as they did yesterday, oh goodness, Carolina's terrible. Dolphins double up the Giants nearly 31-16, and then you have obviously Sunday Night Football. There were some absolute butt kickings in a league where you win by 10. And that is a convincing win. You have teams that are just getting mauled, and you have the maulers as well, to where this conversation happens from time to time, but it seems punctuated this year, the difference between the haves and the have-nots in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I agree. We kind of talked about this a little bit. I think you and I tend to disagree on this a little bit in the sense of it not being truly possible to tank in the NFL.
Yeah.
And while I do see that, I feel like the teams that are bad are noticeably worse now. Like there's a real push to be like, we're just going to be young and we're okay with sucking. Like that's the Panthers' lot in life right now is to get the crap kicked out of them and figure stuff out, see what they have. Like owners and teams are aligned now in the sense of like, we're just not going to push for ticket sales anymore because we make so much bleeping money no matter what that we don't have to just do that.
Yeah.
If the has and have-nots is separating itself.
is the weird part in the slippery slope of the NFL because there's always teams that are unintentionally bad across the NFL.
Sure, you get the injuries and stuff like that pop up and you go, what? That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, no, I was just talking about like the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
But you have teams that are just unintentionally bad and they're not even trying to tank for a player per se or a hard reset in your franchise. But now we're starting to see that more and more. And you get some really damn good teams that across the league. And it's really starting to show when you have blowouts of this magnitude. And yesterday, we'll talk about this a little bit more coming up. You also have these teams that we thought were going to be good. Are they actually starting to find their rhythm or not? That is still to come. But where we got to start hour number 2 of this radio program, let's go to the Beavs, man. That was an incredible offensive showing by the Oregon State Beavers. And that's another thing we've gotten numb to. Teams like scoring 50.
That's not normal.
Really hard to do. But Oregon State shows the flash with the offense, but is there concern on the other side of the ball? Danny Dusty on the Fan.
Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Your brain is an amazing thing. But as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired, Prevagen has been shown to improve memory. A Pharmacy Times National Survey of Pharmacists rated Prevagen the #1 pharmacist-recommended memory support brand for the 5th year in a row. You can find it in the vitamin aisle in stores everywhere without a prescription. Help your memory. Try Prevagen today. Prevagen. Healthier brain, better life. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car right in your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
It's Oregon versus Washington week on The Fan.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland, and Odyssey Station. Now, from the Fan's Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams now ranked in the latest AP Top 25. Washington and Oregon lead the way at number 7 and 8, respectively. USC falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays at number 15. Utah moves up 2 spots to 16. UCLA back in the poll at number 18 after beating Washington State, who fell 6 spots to number 19. Those number 8 Ducks will be in Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday, 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on The Fan starting at 8 a.m. The Ducks are 2.5-point underdogs. Week 5 of the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders 1.5-point favorites. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network reports Jets guard Elijah Vera Tucker is out for the season with a torn Achilles. And on the diamond, both National League Division Series in action today in a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 2:30. Phillies with a 1-0 series lead. They're at the breaks for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 each. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller. That's a 6:07 first pitch. For sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Jeff Rust at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland sports leader.
Daily Boost is the podcast for in-depth analysis on the sports betting landscape. Listen on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts. Ducks versus Huskies.
Kenny Wakefield scores! Kenny Wakefield scores!
Danny versus Dusty.
You don't like it, suck it.
This is an Oregon versus Washington week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company, off Hall Boulevard in Beaverton. Come tailgate at the largest grilling retailer center in the Pacific Northwest this Saturday, or visit them online at grillworkspdx.com.
Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you coming off a football-loaded weekend. If you missed any of hour number 1, you can check it all out on the Audio Vault on the Odyssey app, because all fan podcasts are brought to you by Service Patriots. Is your heater safe? Why replace it when Service Patriots can restore it? Get their $59 27-point furnace tune-up and safety check, including a free 1-inch filter. They'll also check the AC, your AC unit for free. Go to servicepatriots.com. Let's talk about those Beavs, man. 52 points, and I don't think it's arguable. I think it is 100% accurate here. That was DJ's finest game as an Oregon State Beaver.
It might be his finest game as a professional.
College?
Or
as a collegiate quarterback.
As a collegiate quarterback. Yeah, he was incredible.
That was the game that, look, it was against Cal. Cal is one of the bottom third teams in the Pac-12. But he did it again, and that was a great performance against a team that is a defensive-minded head coach, and they are disciplined. Do they have the dudes to shut you down? No, they don't. But DJ played his best game. That was his highest-graded game by Pro Football Focus. Heck, he had the highest-graded game by any quarterback in the country.
Well, you throw 5 tutties, that'll happen.
And 5 touchdowns. But it was the efficiency that he had there, where he didn't have an incompletion, I think, in the entire second quarter. Mm-hmm. He went from like the first to, I think it was like midway through the third quarter. He didn't even have an incompletion on his sheet. He was that stinking good. And then you have the offense humming to the point where when Jonathan Smith is in rhythm as a play caller like that and your quarterback is playing at that level, you're going for it on 4th down in a game where, look, should it have been that close when your offense is operating that well? Probably not, but you went 5 for 5 on 4th downs. That is an incredible stat to have in your hip pocket. Were you great on 3rd down? No, doesn't matter. You were great on critical downs, and you were able to pick up those yards. You didn't have to have, Damian Martinez or Deshaun Fenwick pop in order for your run game to be effective, because each one of those guys were effective in their own right. It was almost like a mirror image. Like the Washington State game is a great example of this, where for whatever reason, Deshaun Fenwick was the better runner in that game. His style was way better. It just suited for that game.
And it just happened to be that's how that has been for Fenwick the last couple of years.
With this game, it was you got both of them rolling. It was one of those booster games after what has been a letdown up in the Palouse, and then you put the hammer down on Utah, and you're able to keep that momentum going forward. I love to see that offensively for the Beavs. On the defensive side of the ball, like you sit there and you're wondering now, are the questions that were there at the beginning of the season was in the secondary? How do you replace the 4 in the secondary, right? And how do you replace a guy like Omar Speights, your outside linebacker, your edge rusher? Those are all passing game situations. We came into this year thinking this is one of the most stout defensive lines and deep defensive lines that they've had in quite some time. And you saw a team that prides itself on running the ball, run the ball with ease against you on Saturday. And that, I'm starting to get the little bit of the warning flags kind of percolating up because, look, this is what happens at this point in the season, right? You start getting dinged up. You start wearing down a little bit. And you're not like hurt. You don't have like the major injuries, but you
wear and tear.
You get the wear and tear, and then when you do have an injury, it hits you a little bit harder right there. And this is like if you can slog through this, which, make no mistake, the Beavs are doing it. When you beat Utah on that Friday night, and then you come down, you go and you get a road win. What do I always say about winning on the road?
Hard to do.
Very hard to do. They did it, and they won by double digits.
Sometimes it's hard to even win at home.
Sometimes it is hard to win at home if you're playing Arizona, USC.
Turns out. But, this Oregon State team looked like they were going to have an identity, that they were going to carve some things out, that they were going to be as physical as we've seen them in the past. Their pass rush was starting to find some things. They couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't get home.
No.
It was very interesting. But this is college football. We talked about it, last segment. The whole idea of they're still kids. This is not the NFL. That variance is still there.
Yeah. In the secondary, if you look at the concerns about, Fernando Mendoza, which that is a badass name.
It is.
That is a great name, Fernando Mendoza. But he wasn't a guy. He didn't put up like a 300-yard passing day. I think he just barely overgot 207. He was barely over 200. What he was able to do though was
just keep him honest.
Well, take the deep shots. I think he had 4 completions of over 20 yards, and that was one where you're like, that's most of their passing attack.
You set them up just enough to where those safeties can't come down. And how many yards they had? 200 yards rushing? 241?
241. Yeah. They got after him on the ground. And
I think balanced it. You can get 200 out of both sides of the ball, or both sides of the offense.
Well, everybody got theirs on the ground, too. And so now you're starting to say, all right, as the season goes on, there's this wholehearted faith that Trent Bray and the defense, they will be okay, and they're going to be great. That was heading into it. Now you're starting to see, all right, is there going to be some chinks in the armor as the schedule does ramp up? And the great thing for Oregon State, and we've discussed this several times, is that their schedule kind of breaks in the best way possible for them, right?
Yeah, it lightens up until the very end. It's the opposite.
They get UCLA this next week, which at least you get UCLA at home in October, but that's going to be one hell of a football game.
But then Arizona, Colorado, Stanford is about as
gentle
as you're going to get in the Pac-12.
You're going to have time to work through, if you can say that in the Pac-12. You say Arizona, Colorado, and Stanford. Arizona damn near won on the road at USC.
And Colorado has shown that they have weapons. Stanford is very bad.
And you have to go on the road to both of those places. But you better get it right in short order, because I watched that UCLA team bring the fight to Washington State. And I was pounding the drum on, look, this UCLA team, they are better in the trenches. This isn't your old Chip Kelly team. They are really stinking good in the trenches. And
as Washington State,
both of their edge rushers, did they get home and sack Cam Ward a ton? No.
They just made life hell.
But they make life a living hell. They're disruptive. They have a team full of disruptors. And in the trenches, that is where they won. And they made that game ugly. And this is what I'm going to be really interested in seeing for this next week with Oregon State is, if they get into the ugly game like Washington State did, will they prove that they can get in these ugly games and they feel comfortable in them, right? When they went up to Washington State and they were getting run out of Pullman, and then all of a sudden they muddied that thing up and they came out. That's what UCLA is going to want to do from the jump, from the get-go.
Just limit everything.
And that's what they did at Washington State. And it showed.
They couldn't get anything going because they didn't get the opportunities to get on the field.
First 7 possessions of that UCLA-Washington State game, there were 3 turnovers, a missed field goal, and a 3-and-out. That is an ugly game. And that is exactly what you want in a game where it is that played to UCLA's hand to perfection. And they're going to want to do the same damn thing against the Oregon State Beavers. And look, if Cal can run for 243 on you, better believe Carson Steele, his pet alligator, and the UCLA Bruins are going to try to do the same damn thing.
Well, I mean, the big thing there is going 2-1 in time of possession. It was nearly 40-20. It was 38-15 to 21-45.
And that's coming from Chip Kelly, the guy who says time of possession doesn't mean squat.
Yeah, and his secret sauce, and Arizona did this to USC in the first half of their game. Don't let those explosive offenses on the field. Snap it at one every single time. Shoot. Limit the opportunities. Limit the issues that you can have, but also limit your own shortcomings.
Yeah.
Will you go out 3 and out every now and then because you're not moving the kind of pace? Sure, but you're using up 3.5 minutes every time you do it.
If you're the Beavs, the positives outweigh the negatives. You won. You put up 52.
Better learn than a win.
Defense, it did struggle. You did it on the road as well.
And you showed DJ can do it.
And DJ did it. And you do have that red zone threat that we were thinking, all right, who's going to emerge as that guy? We thought it was going to be Jack Velling. He gets 3 touchdowns in that game. And he is that safety blanket that every quarterback needs, and he's that big body, right? They have all the speed in the world. I mean, Silas Bolden on those kick returns, good Lord, he is fast. But it's not just, he's not even the fast guy.
No.
Anthony Gould is a fast guy. So is Silas Bolden. So is Josiah Irish. They got speed everywhere, but they needed to have that guy emerge in Velling. Really, from game 1, we said, that's who it's looking like it's going to be.
And it turned out.
He's solidifying that, and the more that you define your roles, the better you are moving forward.
If you're a Bee fan, the one thing I think you're taking away from this weekend, instead of panicking about, oh my God, the defense, is your quarterback can win you a game. You couldn't say that last year.
Yeah.
Your quarterback can win you a game.
Yeah. This is interesting text on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. After 2 weeks, I thought it was the best year the Pac-12 could win a natty. Now, I don't know if the Pac-12 has the defense to win a natty. Let's get into the rest of the Pac and dissect that question as well, because that's an interesting one. The offenses are there, surely. But what about the other side of the ball? A complete team. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
The Blazers wheel and deal.
Drew Holiday goes to Boston. Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, heading to Rip City.
How much pain before the game?
The rosters, it makes sense, things line up. Everything is set up to where if it doesn't work, it's Chauncey's fault, it's Joe's fault, it's Jody's fault. There's no more excuses.
Talk about it and get the inside story on your home for all-day Trailblazers coverage. 1080.
It's really enjoying the journey of these day-by-day improvements.
The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
On 217 southbound, looking at Bucks to slow to heavy traffic from Allen Boulevard to just past the Pacific Highway. And Highway 26 eastbound is slow from Shoals Ferry Road to and through the Vista Ridge tunnels. I'm Victor Zaragoza with traffic.
Do you like helping people and want a career that truly makes a difference? Allied Universal, the contracted security partner for TriMet, has immediate openings for transit security officers and command center operators throughout the Portland metro area. In these important roles, you'll help ensure the safety of TriMet riders and employees. Security officer jobs start at more than $27 an hour with medical, dental, and vision coverage. Learn more and apply today at trimet.org/safe. That's trimet.org/safe.
Hey, it's Suk. A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air is continuing to grow. In addition to Clausen, Hunky Heating and Air has joined the A&E family. The same folks that installed my high-efficiency train system are still there, and if I need anything to help keep my home cool in the summer, I can count on my friends at A&E. Serving Portland, Southwest Washington, and the Gorge, A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning is your local independent train dealer. Online at aeheatingandcooling.com. It's hard to stop a train. CCB number 203004.
So what are you reading? reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene, Video Only.
How does a company become number one? At Lace, it's our relentless focus on service, quality, integrity. We pick up your vehicle and drop it off anywhere in the Northwest. Handle your claim, use factory parts, manufacturer specs, pre-loss repairs. Something else many don't know. We can start on your vehicle today. There's no need to schedule. With our exclusive repair model, your vehicle gets in, gets done, gets out. Did I mention loaners and deduct assist? Lace, locally owned for 32 years, the finest in collision repair.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite. Infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
On 1080 The Fan.
All right, interesting text coming in on the Vancouver Vortex on 503-864-6326. After 2 weeks, I thought this was the best year the Pac-12 could win a natty. Now I don't know if the Pac-12 has the defense to win a natty. Well, USC doesn't.
Nope. 60 points. Cloud does, baby.
And I think that there's an element of this year across college football, there are a lot of solid defenses. Georgia's defense is not the stifling, 11 first-round picks that they've had over the last 2 years.
Doesn't feel like it's a defense in the country that's setting a tone.
They're really stinking good. Oregon probably has the best overall defense in the Pac-12 right now, just based on, and so does Utah. Utah has a defense that could win a championship. It is offensively they seem like a mess, and they will be a mess until Cam Rising is back.
Sidebar:
Yeah.
Have you heard the theories on that? That he was never that the Rising was never actually going to come back this season. They just came back for potential NIL deals. Because he's working with his doctor and not the team's doctor. There's a whole tinfoil hat conspiracy theory going on down in Utah right now. It's super interesting.
That is weird. My impression from meeting Cam Rising briefly is that's not true at all.
Not that guy.
Doesn't seem like him. It also doesn't seem like something that Kyle Whittingham would be like, yeah, let's do that. This really is a good choice for us. So I don't think that. But yeah, either of those things add up.
That was a rabbit hole that I went down this weekend. I was like, I guess Utah, that tracks.
But in 9 to 10 months, he's always been kind of tracking down that line of he's getting closer and closer. I never thought he'd be back before the bye week, and we talked about that when it was like, hey, he was a full participant in practice. Well, that you could have gone through a walkthrough. Everybody's a full participant in a walkthrough. And you never know about that. I don't buy I buy very few tinfoil hat theories, and that's not what I'm going to be buying. But as far as the defenses question goes, I think Oregon does, and we're going to find out how legitimate Oregon's is because the best offense that they've faced this year is Colorado to this point. And what we know about Colorado is they are wildly flawed in the trenches, especially on the offensive line. So you don't know just how good they are. The thing that Oregon has done and has done really effectively is stylistically, they played a bunch of different styles and they kind of shut them all down. Those 30 points on the road at Texas Tech, most points they've given up, but they haven't really played anybody very good.
No, and then that's about to change for everybody in this conference.
And this is why you have a massive measuring stick day for Oregon, not just this week on the road at Washington, but next week where they announce 12:30 kick right here on the Fan between Washington State and Oregon on October 21st. Those two games are really where you're going to say, all right, how up for the challenge is this Oregon defense? They come out of a bye. Washington had a bye as well. But everything, like if you look at all the metrics, if you look at like what Pro Football Focus has put out there as far as their ratings and kind of what they've parsed out, not only is Oregon on the top end playing really well defensively, they're really deep. They are really deep. I think Jeff Schwartz had a tweet about from the Pro Football Focus, I think 5 of the top 20 defensive linemen or whatever it was are graded out by Pro Football Focus are from Oregon.
I do always have to take his stuff with a big old grain of salt, but on the flip side,
he's saying that Pro Football Focus.
I'm well aware.
Oh, so you think he made up the Pro Football Focus?
No,
stat?
I'm just saying in general. But the flip side is on EPOA on both sides of the ball, it is Georgia and Oregon that are the only 2 programs in the country that are in the top 10.
It's pretty impressive right there.
That to me is more telling than subjective grading.
Yeah. That
to me goes, oh, okay. That says no matter who you're playing, relative to schedule, you're getting it done at a top 10 level in the country on both sides of the ball.
And that's incredible to see that how quickly that turnaround has happened and what that is what that has looked like, because I think there's a few things at play here. One is that they are deeper just by you go out and you get a guy like Jordan Burch out of the transfer portal, and that is going to obviously help you tremendously.
When you just go at a guy who you don't go, I need to work on him, I need to develop him, I need to see what we can do in camp with him. You go, no, you start.
But then Mateo Uiagalelei and then Blake Purchase, the growth that we have seen out of those two guys.
Where you're not just, can you toss them in at the end of a game? You're getting real contributions from them mid-game.
As freshmen.
Yes.
And that is, you have that mix of the young guys, the guys that have been developed quickly in time here, but then also the instant
the test tube babies where they're just ready to go.
The Kyrie Jacksons, the Jordan Birches, these guys that you've just dropped right in, and you're like, all right,
you're good.
Let's see
Go
it.
On.
They will all be tested.
Yes.
And it will be a different animal when it is on the road in Husky Stadium.
Which is a difficult place to play for anybody, particularly for Oregon.
A raucous environment.
Yes.
And you're going to be asked to slow down the most potent passing attack in college football right now.
You have one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the country we gave Ohio State the nod going into the season as the wide receiver room. I don't think it's that case anymore. I'm giving it to Washington.
I'll still give the receiver room the nod. The quarterback and receiver room, Washington by a mile. Because Michael Penix with those receivers is what the biggest difference is, right?
You have 3 wide receivers over 100 yards in a tutty a game. That's not normal.
What they are able to do week in and week out as well. But then they have a lot of that. Okay, let's look at the schedule and let's break this down. Have they seen a defense like Oregon's?
Nope.
Has Oregon seen an offense like Washington's? The answer to both of those questions is no.
Through and through. And that's what's going to be so great about this game. Beyond it being a rivalry game and beyond everything being on the line, you're going to get the first real answers to questions for both sides that we've had all season.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. That is what college football is all about, because you want to have these big questions, especially we're in October, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in the second weekend of October for these games, and we have these questions of there's still uncertainty, and we will have some certainty come Saturday.
The next 3 weeks, there will be
4 p.m. We will be like, we'll sit there and be like, well, we got some certainty there. We have questions. Either side will be answered with Oregon and Washington. The unfortunate part for some fan bases, like what you went through on Saturday night, is that you're getting that answer, and it's not against the elite of the elite. Because what Arizona was able to do against USC, I was impressed. I come away impressed with Jed Fish all the time.
100%.
He said it was personal this past weekend because they took three of the best players. But to thread the needle of the talent discrepancy that is on both sides,
the execution,
the woeful lopsidedness of the quarterback's production and expectations, because you have a freshman on one side and the Heisman Trophy winner on the other side. And the fact that his guys were ready, and the way that they were able to move the ball and move the ball against SC is one thing, but the frustration that they gave USC's offense, that's another thing. Like that to me, like you are rightfully so pissed at Alex Grinch. The offense, though, they got clamped up in that first quarter. The first quarter was like, what USC team is this that we're watching?
Part of me wants to give, and not even once, part of me is 100% giving Arizona credit, but part of me is also, as much as I want Grinch gone, I thought Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley were piss poor to start that game. I thought they were lazy in what they did. I thought they overlooked this game, and I thought they looked ahead to Notre Dame way too early.
Yeah.
They got a little too high on their own supply, and I'm not taking away from Arizona because they came out with a game plan and they executed.
What was up with is 5-3 and outs? That's what USC had in the game.
Yeah, and
5-3. When's the last time that happened to SC?
They had three in a row
to start the game.
But the thing was, like, it wasn't a case of like I'm sitting there watching the game where Oregon State was last year, where Oregon State was clearly bothering Caleb, and it was one of those nights. Every quarterback has one of those nights. It is what it is. It wasn't that. I watched him and I go, what are you doing back there?
Yeah.
And that to me was, I think, more a testament to. Again, I don't want to take away from Arizona because I thought they played really well and they deserved to win. But I thought honestly, Caleb Williams and USC was under prepared heading into that game. I thought it felt like they didn't respect Arizona at all. Because when they turned it on in the second half, they rattled off points seamlessly.
Yeah, and I look at that as just, I thought Arizona, I think both things can be true in that Arizona was ready, and they were very, very well prepared.
And they were, the last thing I want to do, to be clear, do not take away anything from Arizona.
I think, I'll take one thing away. I hate toss on the goal line. I think it's a stupid play.
It's the one time USC stopped it.
Yardage.
The one time they stopped it was that time.
Oh, my gosh.
Otherwise, it worked 100% of the time.
But I think that it also can be true that in the first half, Arizona was ready. But in the second half, what we saw in erasing a 17-point deficit should not be ignored, because that is the biggest deficit that USC has overcome with Lincoln Riley as a head coach, albeit that's a very short time. But to overcome that, I think that is also in the preparation and adjustments that they made at halftime, right? And the whole idea that, hey, you don't make adjustments at halftime, that's kind of true. What you do, though, is you say, what's working?
Yeah.
And you saw they went back to what was working, because, look, they had three and outs, but they also had that fumble where they also had 43 yards on the drive, and it was a 3-play drive, and they ended up fumbling. But they were moving the ball still in chunks. It was just when they did, they shot themselves in the foot in the first half.
There's a lot of that, and that's why I look at the lack of preparation and consistency and how they're attacking the game.
You also have, though, that freshman in Fafita.
He's going to be a dude, and Fish has a problem on his hands.
He's fun.
In Jaden DeLora and Fafita going forward. I know you have to go with DeLora, but
do you?
Yes, you do.
I mean,
he's been tremendous.
Has he? He turns them on. I mean, it's the turnovers that Arizona and Coug fans know this. It's like those crippling turnovers where you're like, what was that? You know? And Fafita, being a freshman, you sit there and you're like, yeah, he had one. And it wasn't good.
He's got a good relationship with his old teammate in Tetra McMillan, though.
It's Servite High's
Yikes.
finest. My wife's aunt is like a principal down there. She raved about both of those guys. But she was like, Fafita, good kids. Like, really good. Like, couldn't say nicer things about it. I was like, well, that's good to hear.
They're also very big.
Massive.
Large gentlemen.
Just massive Polynesian skill position players that are just dropping dimes all over the place. But it was him going for 300 yards, completing 70% of his passes on the road in that environment. That's big time for Arizona and Jedd Fisch's team. And a tip of the cap. You know, you got Jacob Cowling. He's
Cowling's
a
dude, man.
McMillan went off again, but then Coleman with going for 143 yards on the ground. You got to be worried about that run defense because what is going to kill USC when they get in a game against a team like Oregon in November in Eugene?
Is that ball control?
It's Oregon's ability to run the football.
Yep, 100%. And that's what's, as we get into the next couple weeks, that's what's going to be interesting to see who kind of lands where on this. Yeah. Well, speaking of Duck fans, you'll get to enjoy this one. Our worst day on the web, Mario Cristobal does it again. My goodness. But first, here's a Sports Center update.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Your new floors are in stock and ready to install at PG Long, your Northwest flooring experts, pglongllc.com. First on the Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams ranked in the latest AP Top 25. Washington and Oregon leading the way at number 7 and number 8. USC falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays put at number 15. Utah up 2 to 16. And UCLA back in the poll at number 18 after beating Washington State, who fell 6 spots down to number 19. Those number 8 Ducks will be on Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday. 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on the Fan starting at 8 a.m. Oregon are 2.5-point underdogs. Week 5 of the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders 1.5-point favorites. Both National League Division Series in action today in a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 2:30. The Phillies with a 1-0 series lead at the Braves for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 apiece. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller. That's a 6:07 first pitch. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland sports leader.
One number does it all for contests and texting your favorite fan shows. The Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6FAN.
Sponsored by Boost Infinite.
Hey, thinking of getting the latest iPhone? Then check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just dial pound 250 on your phone and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from this station's network.
Reynolds Defense Firms. One promise. This is McDaniel Reynolds with the Reynolds Defense Firm, and we specialize in one thing. We represent good people facing DUI charges. Trust is a big deal to me, both personally and professionally, and I believe at the core of trust is a very simple concept. Be genuine. Be genuine in what you say. Be genuine in what you do. And I believe being genuine is what makes Reynolds Defense Firm so successful at helping good people facing DUI charges. There's no pretense here. What you see is what you get. We do what we say we are going to do, and we don't make promises we can't keep. In fact, there's only one promise we make to our clients because there's only one thing within our complete control. We promise every client we represent that we will do the absolute best we can for them. And since DUI law is our specialty, and we have a fantastic team of lawyers and staff, our absolute best can be pretty amazing. If you or someone you believe in faces a DUI charge, call Reynolds Defense Firm today, because you want Reynolds Defense Firm on your side. Reynolds Defense Firm. We're solid, we're here if you need us, and we are very good at what we do.
Made to shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers. We met later in life. I liked his dimples.
Both of our spouses had passed away, and we never expected to remarry.
That's the funny thing about love. It has its own agenda.
I wanted to get her a ring that celebrated our future, but didn't ignore our past.
I just wanted a party.
Shane Company helped me create the perfect ring, the center stone for us, and the 2 side stones for our past loves.
Capture your love story with a unique engagement ring. Shane Company. Fine jewelry since 1929.
X Golf is the home of indoor golf. Don't put the clubs away, come inside. We've got a full bar and great food. The fall special has just started. It's more affordable than ever. X Golf in Tualatin, Vancouver, and coming soon to Beaverton. Go to xgolfpnw.com.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam. And Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
On 1080 The Fan. It's time for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Oh, really? That sucks.
No one can snatch a defeat from the jaws of victory like one Mario Cristobal.
Woo, Nelly!
In a game that really had no business being as close as it was between Miami and Georgia Tech, simply just taking a bleeping knee would have been enough. Instead, the ball goes back to the Ramblin' Wreck with 26 seconds remaining, and they're able to go down the field and score.
Well, that is the most incredible thing, is that this was exactly what happened back in 2018
between Oregon and Stanford.
Herbert, 8 seconds on the play clock. Now running for the ball. Makes the call. Snap, turn, hand it off. Riddell goes left. Fights for the first down. I think he got it. Oh, did the ball come out? The ball came out and Stanford got it. Fumble. Stanford ball with 51 seconds remaining.
And in that 51 seconds, Stanford sunk Oregon. In that, in a nutshell, you were sitting there and you're going, this is what happened.
Nathaniel Hackett is grossed out by this game management.
Even if you are in a situation where you are going to give the other team back the ball with 1 or 2 seconds to go, statistically speaking, it is worth it to take those knees, force them to burn the timeouts, run that thing down as long as you can, and then punt the ball back. But this, you're on a 3rd down and 10, and you fumble with 26 seconds to go. It's not just the fact that you fumbled, and it wasn't just the fact that the C.J. Verdell fumbled either. It's what happened immediately after that.
Snap back to King. Goes down to his right. Rookie. 5 seconds to go. He will toss it into the end zone at the 5. Larry into the end zone. Touchdown Jackets. Touchdown Jackets. 1 second left. Christian Larry. Look at the Eagles win this. Throwing downfield to Christian Larry, who got behind the defense.
incredible.
I'll tell you this. That wasn't just getting behind the defense. There were 5 Miami Hurricane defenders who were underneath the pass.
In 44 yards.
How?
And that
How?
to me, if I'm a Miami fan, like the fumble in running the ball there, that bothers me. But what also bothers me is what transpired immediately after that. And that is one thing that you go, how do you recover from? How do you get up off of the mat? Because when everybody sits there and brings back up the C.J. Verdell fumble, right? This is a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me situation where you're like, this has happened before. And remember, clock mismanagement, everybody's going back to that game in 2018. One of the first ones that came to my mind was the 2019 game against Auburn in Cowboy Stadium. Like, that game popped into my mind. I was like, we remember these things
You can spin the wheel and you're going to land on plenty. That's the problem.
And that is where Mario Cristobal, like, you're then having to ask the tough questions of, like, all right, what is the decision-making behind that?
You know, when the drive started, it was going to be at 157, you know, and we could burn about 127 off, and then it was recalibrated. It should have taken a timeout right there at the end. Thought he could get the first down, and you know, we talked about 2 hands on the ball, but that's not good enough. Just should have told him to take it in. That's it. Fumbled the ball at 25, and they went 75 yards in 2 plays, so no excuse.
No excuse, but I'm going to slide in there. Should have been 2 hands on the ball. Should have
Should-
been 2 hands on the ball.
It should have been 2 hands on the ball.
Yeah, but also, you're the coach.
Yeah.
That's buck stops with you, dude.
And this has happened before. And that, like...
Don't put him in that position.
No. And you take the knees, you put plans in place to go through these in late game situations to where it is, all right, now, what is the difference between us just taking the traditional knee and then getting into the modified victory, right? Where you are in a position where you take your quarterback gets the ball and
Don't take the knee right away.
he either rolls to the right, rolls to the left, and then takes the knee. We've seen that time
Burn a
and
few
time
more
again.
seconds.
You can take a couple steps back and you have him just waiting until anybody gets close.
And then fall.
And then he finally goes down. Like, unless you're really that worried about ruining your running yards and what your rushing yards say in a game, then maybe you're going to try to run the football like that. But the smart play is you can still find ways to milk more time off of the clock and give yourselves a better chance, a puncher's chance than what we've already seen play out before, which is fumbles, right? With all of this being said, this is all just setting up to be a situation where Miami's in this situation again. They punt the ball away, and their defense gives up 75 yards just like they did.
I still don't understand how he broke the coverage that badly. I don't understand. How? There's one thing that the team can do.
Yeah.
There's one thing that they can do to beat you. All 5 defenders under the coverage.
That is so brutal.
Have you seen the still frame?
Yeah, I have. I saw it floating around. The number one thing is don't let anybody behind you.
And it's literally the only person behind is the Georgia Tech wide receiver. Everybody else is underneath. I don't like that kind of breakdown. I can't. All right, coming up next, it's that time of week. It's Monday, which means it's time for Dusty to reveal his top 5 Pac-12 quarterbacks of the week. We'll get to that and more coming up here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to
Prime Time with Isaac and Sue.
What time's the game? I don't know.
I've moved on.
Wait, I tell you what, for a hot XFL reporter, you sure don't have much info.
I was looking up viewership. Sea Dragons versus Vegas Vipers got 300,000 people that tuned in.
Well, we've wasted your time enough.
We haven't wasted anything. People needed to know.
The home of Prime Time with Isaac and Sue. Weekdays 3 to 7. 1080 The Fan.
Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Book your Stanford's holiday party early and save. Parties booked this October will save 10%. If your event is between November 15th and January 15th, simply visit stanfords.com and mention Holiday 10 in booking notes or in an email to save. Details at stanfords.com.
It's time for the Fall Haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the Fall Hall at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, QuietTech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Are you thinking about getting a new TV this week at prime prices? Maybe a Samsung, LG, or a Sony? Before you click, you should check out Video Only, because they've got below prime deals. That's right. Top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only, because if you do, you'll be sorry.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down, clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can see, inside my shell I wait and bleed.
This is Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Drillworks Supply Company.
On 1080 The Fan.
That was a fantastic week in the Pac-12 for Pac-12 quarterbacks. And with that, it's time to dive into our Pac-12 quarterback rankings, as told to us by one Dusty here. Dusty, what are we starting with this week?
Power rankings. These are fluid. These are power rankings. We rank the power week to week, and it does fluctuate from week to week. We've had weeks where everything's kind of been status quo, but we do have a change this week. And again, it can change by your performance and based on how good your performance was. And Cam Ward has fallen out of the top 5 for this week based on his 19 of 39, 197-yard, 1 touchdown, 2 interception performance. That's not all on him, right? We saw that game play out. We knew what the headaches that UCLA's front seven was going to pose to Cam Ward. But the reason why he falls out for this week is because the guy that he beat a couple of weeks ago, DJ Uiagalelei, he had the highest passing grade of any quarterback, according to Pro Football Focus this past weekend.
That'll happen when you throw 5 tutties.
Not just 5 tutties, but with efficiency.
19 of 25.
19 of 25, 275 yards. with his legs as well, although he was, sacked twice?
Mhm.
Was he sacked twice? Still had 14 yards rushing because they don't parse those out between passing and rushing sacks. DJ played well enough to earn his way back into this for a week. You have DJ Uyunglele at number 5, Cam Ward. Again, no shame in being 6th on this
It's
list.
a coin toss between 6th every week.
Yeah, I wanted to
Legitimately.
put Noah Fafita up in this too.
I mean, if we're doing a week by week and not a kind of a stacking, sure. I mean,
But here's the thing though about what is going on in the Pac-12 conference is just take a look at what Shedeur Sanders was able to do. Right? They get bottled up. They had a slow start. Dion is complaining about the slow start. Dion's complaining about how much his kid is getting hit because your offensive line's terrible, and he was hit a ton this past week. But Shedeur Sanders goes for 239 yards, but it was the last drive that did it for me, man. And look, he went and moved the ball down the field. They're in a 24-24 ball game, and they've been stymied all night long.
Mm-hmm.
He hits Javon Antonio for 43 yards on first down, immediately flips the field, and gives his team a chance to win. His numbers, raw numbers, have gone down. People have gotten a book on how to defend Colorado now.
they're also still cartoony and he still leads the country in passing yards.
Shedeur Sanders is doing exceptionally well with his number 1 receiver at the beginning of the year being out and an offensive line that has an inability to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more note on the ASU, by the way. ASU may be the 2nd worst team in the Pac-12 this year.
Sure. They're frisky.
They are going to be so hard to beat.
They're frisky.
Week. Like Kenny Dillingham, he went almost full Herm Edwards when he did the play to win the game thing. But he has shown in the 2 weeks since then, his guys are ready to go every week. They're not very good.
No.
But
they're frisky.
He's also on his 3rd string quarterback, and his 3rd string quarterback went on a 13-play, 94-yard drive at the end of the game.
And he's got a guy named Scatabo.
That's right. And
It's a great name.
That's right. Yeah.
Scatabo.
Yeah, the Wild Scat,
We
which
love
is quite literally translates to nature poo. Wild Scat. But
you think he's a scat man?
Number 3, Bo Nix. Bo Nix hasn't changed on this list. The next 2 haven't changed because they were on a bye this week, and they have been 2 of the most impressive. Bo Nix is completing 80% of his passes on the season. He's one of the most efficient passers in all of college football. Number 2 is Michael Penix, who is efficient and puts up crooked numbers left and right. He is at number 2. We will have a little bit of separation this week. One guy is going to be moving either direction because Michael Penix will move up to number 1 if he impresses against the Ducks defense, and Bo Nix will jump Michael Penix if the Ducks beat Washington this next weekend, barring a weird game where Bo Nix is woefully inefficient, inaccurate, and somehow they still win the game.
It would be the first time.
That'd be surprising. But Penix is at number 2 on the bye week. Number 1 is Caleb Williamson. A first half may have changed that. The second half, he was as advertised yet again. He keeps putting up the most ridiculous numbers in all of college football.
For me, it's been fun to watch as a USC guy. The guy that had 4 touchdowns had a bad weekend.
Yeah. Well, quarterback is playing at a very high level of play.
It's absolutely bonkers the level of competition that we have in the Pac-12 quarterback spot.
Yeah.
We have said it so many times, but it truly is not being played better than out here on the West Coast right now.
Really exceptional coaching, too, I think is going on top to bottom across the conference. Even Troy Taylor and Stanford. When you look at Stanford and you see Stanford, especially on the field, they are not physically there. But they are going to be well coached. I think it says a lot about the conference, and we had that question from a texter earlier this hour about, is there a defense good enough? Well, there's really damn good offenses being played. And elite defensive play is really hard when you week to week have great quarterback play you're going up against and great scheme that you're going up against as well.
It's also, I think it's becoming the NFLization of college football is becoming more and more real, where it is becoming harder and harder and harder to play defense.
Yeah.
And it feels like let me ask you this, Dusty. You coach in high school. How many clinics out there are really, really, really focused on the development of defensive players right now? How many are out there?
Not a lot.
Okay.
I mean, the great programs, that's their point of emphasis, and that is their focus.
How many
Look at
7-on-7
Alabama.
camps are out there where it's not the elite 11 or developing wide receivers or hell, even developing offensive linemen? There's just not, the development of defense in general.
You were spot on.
Is just not something that's out there.
Yeah, and that's why in the South, they're better at that on that side of the ball because they care about it. And there is that point of emphasis. That's why quarterback play and receivers are all that comes out of the West Coast. And that's why you have to go into Texas, Georgia, Florida in order to get offensive and defensive linemen to be successful, is because the point of emphasis surely on the West Coast is all offensive.
It's speed.
And it is nationally, it is mostly on the offensive side of the ball. The pockets in the South, though, where defense matters, they're really stinking good at it.
You got to go into the Yulee, Floridas, and find the Derrick Henrys of the defensive world.
Oh, yeah.
All right, coming up next, we're going to reset and dive into the NFL world. Injuries abound, and my God, there's a lot of stupid coming out of the NFL.
No way.
But also, maybe a little bit of bounce back. That and more coming up here in Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
I'm Michael Jenkins, helping you beat the book to back you out. The Dodgers dropped game 1 of the NLDS against Arizona this weekend and will look to even things up tonight in LA. The good trend for LA this season is that they bounced back pretty well, having gone 42-21 after a loss during the regular season, and they sent Bobby Miller to the mound tonight in game 2. Today's BetQL best bet is to take the Dodgers to beat the Diamondbacks in LA in game 2. I'm Michael Jenkins. Bet smarter and beat the books with BetQL, and download the BetMGM app today.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you ready to step up your grilling game? Grillworks Supply Company in Beaverton is ready to make you the ultimate pit master. Carrying top brands in barbecue like Napoleon, Pits and Spits, or pizza ovens from Alpha and Gosney, Grillworks has you covered from prep to plate. Don't believe us? Check out GrillworksPDX.com to see their huge selection of grills, sauces, rubs, and accessories. The largest grilling center in the Pacific Northwest is Grillworks Supply Company, located off Hall Boulevard in Beaverton, or at GrillworksPDX.com.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is the most emotional issue our clients face. If you're a divorcing father, the relationship with your children is about to change. But that change doesn't have to be for the worse. Kids already feel the stress of parents who don't get along, and they can thrive after a divorce. Kids trust their dads. Their dads trust Goldberg Jones. Call 1-800-DIVORCE and get your phone questions answered at no charge.
Serving the greater Portland, Vancouver area.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizin, a prescription-only 150-milligram injection for adults. Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
It's Oregon versus Washington week on The Fan.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
KFXX, KWJJ, HD2, Portland, and Odyssey Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams now ranked in the latest AP Top 25 poll. Washington and Oregon leading the way at number 7 and number 8. USC falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays at number 15. Utah moves up 2 to 16. UCLA now back in the poll at number 18 after beating Washington State, who fell 6 spots to number 19. Those number 8 Ducks will be in Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday, 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on The Fan starting at 8 a.m. Oregon are 2.5-point underdogs. Oregon State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei named Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week after throwing for 5 touchdowns against Cal. This marks the 6th straight week a different quarterback has won the award. Week 5 in the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites. Both National League Division Series in action today in a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN. Portland starts at 2:30. Phillies with a 1-0 series lead at the Braves for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 each. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller. That's a 6:07 first pitch. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland sports leader.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland Sports Leader. 1080 The Fan. Coast to coast. And border to border. This is an Oregon versus Washington week edition of Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company, off Hall Boulevard in Beaverton. Come tailgate at the largest grilling retailer center in the Pacific Northwest this Saturday, or visit them online at grillworkspdx.com.
Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan.
Hour number 3 here on a Monday on Danny and Dusty. Pivoting back to the NFL because we had a lot of foosball this weekend on the college and NFL side. There's a lot going on every week, and I gotta say, the script writers they've been on one in the NFL this year, Dusty.
Arian Foster was right, you know.
Turns out,
I can't believe people. That may be one of these stories that we just blew over.
The NFL made literal commercials based on
it. The fact that Arian Foster said, yeah, the scriptwriters would put the script at the beginning of the season on your locker, and people are like, wait, what? What? Are we that dumb?
I mean, the NFL made commercials out of it because it was just such a great tinfoil hat. I mean, it was so fancy because Arian Foster said some wild stuff. But that one being like tongue-in-cheek and having fun with it, being good, that was fantastic. I'm going to give you a little bit of dealer's choice here. Do you want to talk about the good, or do you want to talk about your awful Patriots first?
We can talk either. Look, give me the bad news first.
All right, bad news first. Yeah. Your Patriots suck. They might be one of the 4 worst teams in football. They don't have a redemptive quality about them this season.
Wow. Yes, they do. The throwback uniforms are back.
Is that good?
Yeah, those are great uniforms.
Patriot Pat?
Yeah, those are great. Other than that, you're right. And no, the one thing that is really bothersome about this whole thing is one, Mac Jones not good.
Are you accepting that now?
He is atrocious, and he has been. But here's where it's like he is that game manager.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to be Tom Brady.
He's the game manager everybody accuses Brock Purdy of being.
That's right. But part of having a game manager is you have to have an offensive line that is decent enough. And this is something that is not getting nearly enough run or being talked about. Everybody wants to talk about the quarterback or, is Belichick losing his touch. Their offensive line, like even when Tom Brady was there, they weren't a Super Bowl caliber team unless they were able to run the football. They can't run the football. And they have not been good in that all season long. And it's getting worse as the dings and the bumps and bruises pile up over the course of a season. You add on top of that, you're asking Mac Jones to be something that he's not. And then you add on top of that, they still aren't good in the skill positions, and they haven't been.
And their defense is missing their two biggest playmakers in Judon and
yeah, they're just not. They are not a good football team.
Like I said, there's not a redemptive quality about them.
No, except for the throwback uniforms, which are great. They are fantastic, and that is redemptive about them. Other than that, though, no, they're not good. They're not a good football team, and their offensive line is skating by.
Are you now interested in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes?
No. Well, yeah, if Caleb Williams is on your team, I think that's always a good thing. But I don't think they're bad enough to catch a team like
the Giants or the Bears.
The Bears. Hell, Minnesota's maybe unintentionally trying to do it. Because that was the most Minnesota game I've ever seen yesterday, where they had a chance to beat the Chiefs, and we're just like,
nah.
Yeah, no, we're not going to make those plays. Not those ones. I mean, we're going to make this thing close enough.
Who are you faulting and or highlighting in that game? Did the Chiefs play that bad? Did
Taylor
the
Swift.
Vikings play well enough, or was it just an ugly NFL game that we just aren't used to seeing as often anymore? Because this used to be the gold standard of NFL play.
I think that's it right there.
I think this used to be it.
That is it right there. Yeah. Like the Chiefs. I mean, Travis Kelce got hurt. Okay, he comes back.
That turf strike it again.
Yeah, he comes back in though, and look at how different they are. We do not give it enough credit. We don't talk about it enough. How much he means to Patrick Mahomes. Would Patrick Mahomes still be a brilliant quarterback without Travis Kelce? 100%. But when you look at what that offense is with Travis Kelce, especially mid-game where he means so much to their game plan, both in the running and passing game, when you and he's not like a dynamite run blocker, but your tight end means so much right now in the NFL. All starting tight ends are criminally underpaid, and Travis Kelce is no different, even though he's handsomely paid and a handsome man. Sure. But you saw what a difference he made when he came back and promptly scores a couple of tutties. I think that kind of game flow, Kelce getting injured, and then Kirk Cousins is going to be good enough to get you close. And that is the saddest part about it. He still has one of the best receiving rooms in the entire NFL. And it'd be wild. I would be so frustrated if I was a Vikings fan because Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback.
Sure.
And you would take Kirk Cousins if every cent wasn't guaranteed and you couldn't restructure his
couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd take him.
But this is more than the regression to the mean of the one-score games.
Yeah.
This is them just not being good.
Yeah.
I think that's fundamentally what this comes down to. We saw that 49ers team beat the brakes off the Cowboys.
Slam my head into a wall. They're close in every single game. Like they are 1-4 this year, and they are 1-4 in one-score games.
Here's the thing, though. Have they been in a game where they should have just outright won?
Yeah, the Chargers game.
Oh, that's true. They did stupid that up.
Yeah. And I'm trying to go back and think about the Buccaneers game. But no, this is the thing, too, is that Kirk yards are real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kirk yards are a thing, and Kirk yards are...
Tagging him on.
Yeah, you're not going to win this game, but he's going to get him. He's going to make it close, give you hope. And then his fans will always have something to say because he's like, look how close he is. And they're always in these games. He can't do it all. It's like, well, there's kind of a reason for it. Although they should have gotten a penalty against the Chiefs. You see that?
Which one? Because I saw a lot of Vikings fans very mad about the Chiefs and
the helmet,
the rigging of the referees.
Oh yeah, there's a video out about that. Was it? I want to say it may have been Snead at the end of the
removing his helmet,
his helmet in the end zone, and
the referee did the right thing and said, "Put the helmet back on."
Yeah, because he didn't take it off in celebration. He didn't take it off in disgust.
No.
He took his helmet off. And they were like, flag, should have flagged him, which you could have, but...
No, the job of officials is not to throw flags.
Is it spirit or letter?
Yes. For the love
Spirit
of
of the
God,
rule
it's always
or
spirit of the rule.
Letter of the rule.
Because I'm telling you right now, you don't want refs enforcing things on the letter.
Yeah.
You do not. It's miserable. I've seen it done. It's terrible.
Happens all the time.
It's, ugh. Keeping the suck train rolling.
Ooh.
You like that one? I think that's a good drop for you. Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
My goodness. Again, zero redemptive qualities about a franchise. That, again, we talked about this in hour number one, that the haves and the have-nots. Buddy, the have-nots, like, you can't even, like, lick your finger and wipe the tray. There's not even a crumb of, like, there's something there. No, it's empty. It's hollow. It's not Sean Payton. It's not Russell Wilson. It's not their running back room. It's not their defense. Patrick Surtain is sitting there like Will Smith. Why don't he want me? Like, there's nothing. It's empty. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested. They're awful. They let Zach Wilson, who did not look great, but still managed to get it done while Breece Hall ran all over them.
Yeah.
All over them. We had Willie Gay talking about this. I think maybe this 2 weeks ago, going into that matchup with the Jets, where they said, yeah, I think they should probably run the ball a little bit more. It was a side shot.
No, yeah, it was that looks like a team that wants to run the ball.
Yeah.
When he was asked about Zach Wilson.
Yes, and it was a polite way of taking shots at him. And guess what? They looked like a team that wanted to run the ball, and they ran it all over the Broncos all game long.
They really did.
They took. Remember, they had the governor on Breece Hall coming off the knee surgery. They weren't going to let him have the workload until this week. Well, they took it off, and he said bye-bye.
And that's a guy that we forget was on pace to be Rookie of the Year before he got injured last year, and then his teammate Garrett Wilson became the Rookie of the Year. That is even more infuriating if you're a Broncos fan, that result, because you know all that the Jets can do is run the football.
They ran the ball
still were able
32
to.
times for 234.
It's also wildly frustrating that it happens to Nathaniel Hackett. I'm happy for Nathaniel Hackett because his game management was atrocious early, and that kind of was like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And then it kind of snowballed. But I'm happy for Nathaniel Hackett in that when you get that win against everybody that has been taking shots at you.
Sean Payton took an unfair shot at him. Coaching
unfair.
alliances are not supposed to do that.
And I think what we're seeing is one of the most important things that a quarterback can have is the belief of his locker room. And Russell Wilson does not have the belief of his locker room.
I don't think he has the belief of anyone.
And it shows offensively their performance. And when you lose by 10 points and your offense quite literally scored 8 points for the opposition, where Russell Wilson gets that intentional grounding in the end zone for a safety, and we see the slow-mo clip of Sean Payton after Russell Wilson holds onto the ball for too long, fumbles it, and they scoop and score for a touchdown. Sean Payton, as he's walking over, goes, throw to the back.
Check
He's
down
your
there.
outlet. Like, I built this in so you can win no matter what. And that is the thing with Sean Payton's offense. There is a win in any situation. You have to take it. And Russell Wilson is incapable of taking it. And in 2 instances, it gave the Jets points, and you lose by 10, and you gave them 8. Your offense, that's not like a fumble led to a touchdown on an offensive drive. No. Your offense was on the field when 8 points were scored, and you lose by 10. That's got to be wildly frustrating.
I don't know if it's frustrating as somebody who likes to watch the Broncos suffer. It's a lot of fun. Not gonna lie.
It's great. It's
Not
great
gonna lie.
for you. Business is good for Danny.
Look,
in
right
that
now
regard.
things are doing good for me. I'm feeling pretty good about the entire process. It's Broncos fans out there, not so much, but for me personally, that's what matters here in this segment. Is how I feel. All right, coming up next, that's a sour from the NFL week.
No, the most sour from the NFL week was the hook getting us because the Texans plus 1.5, and they have the lead, and Desmond Ridder continues to be undefeated at home in college and in the NFL. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, a couple of those hooks. We'll get those on Thursday. A couple of those hooks came back to bite me pretty good. That was tough.
21-19. They had a lead in. Hey, I'm going to give Desmond Ritter his flowers. That was a great
best game of his career so far.
And that was a final drive where he had to pick up a couple first downs. He got his team into scoring field goal range, and they won the game. That's big time for that guy. And it's amazing what happens when, I don't know, you throw the ball to Kyle Pitts.
Turns out the freakish tight end of the likes we've never seen in the NFL. Getting the ball, useful.
That's fun, though. That's
It is. So our sour is out of the way. Let's hit our sweet coming up next. Turns out Jamar Chase, always open. Danny and Dusty, today in the fan. Keeping the suck train rolling.
Seahawks football is on the fan.
He's looking. Now he throws part-time. It's blocking. Does he reach the ball across? He does. It's over, baby. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Join us all season long for Seahawks football. Brought to you by Warren Allen Attorneys at Law. Injured? Don't trust just anyone with something so personal. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com. The Seahawks play here. 1080.
Holy catfish.
The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Papa Murphy's changed the way you pizza. I-5 southbound, you have bucks to slow to heavy traffic from Lombard Street to I-84. And I-84 westbound is slow from 43rd Avenue to I-5. I'm Victor Zaragoza with traffic.
Don't let the game play you. Sports betting is popular among Oregonians, and those who bet on sports are at increased risk of developing a gambling problem. Learn more at opgr.org or call 1-877-MY-LIMIT. This message is brought to you by VOA Oregon and the Multnomah County Behavioral Health Division.
The Fan 411.
1080 The Fan's Ducks Game Day Secret Score is back on the Fan all through the end of the season. Listen to the Ducks post-game scoreboard show following each game for our hosts to give you the secret score. Once you have it, tune in to Dirt and Sprague every Monday in the 7 a.m. hour for the cue to text in that secret score for your chance to win a $100 gift card from Laurelhurst Market. Details on how to win at 1080thefan.com.
That's the Fan 411.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene. Video Only.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
More wet weather today, more tomorrow, and wet weather on Wednesday.
Weather brought to you by Barbasol Shaving Cream. Choose Barbasol Shaving Cream for a thick lather and a close, comfortable shave. Barbasol, the American original for over 100 years. Better buy Barbasol.
This is Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
on 1080 The Fan.
Not all is lost in the NFL. In fact, there's quite a few great things that happened this weekend. Turns out, Jamar Chase wasn't lying, Dusty. He is indeed always open.
Yes. Not just always open, because when you talk that talk, you better walk it. And you have to back it up. And last week when Jamar Chase said this...
And I guess the receivers didn't make enough plays.
In 4 games this season, do you feel like you've had less time to get open and create space for yourself?
Nah, I'm open. I'm always open. Excuse my profanity. I'm sorry.
If he said that to the media, I can't imagine what he said to Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, that entire offensive staff over the course of this week.
Well, it worked because he was targeted 19 times.
Yeah. And he had 15 catches for 192 yards, 3 tutties.
Also, shouts to the guy that gave his leg up to Joe Burrow. Because I'm trying to figure out how the guy went from being able to not throw the ball down the field further than 5 yards to throwing 60-plus air yard passes to Jamar Chase.
He did say it was feeling better than it has been all since he heard it.
My goodness.
Sure looked like it. But here's the thing about what made Jamar Chase's performance so impressive is that it's not that you just win that game and you win it running away and your offense looks like it's back to normal.
And Joe Burrow looks entirely normal.
He has 15 catches for 192. Of those 15 catches, 14 of them went for either a touchdown
or
a first down. And that is a record.
That's impact.
That is something that you cannot, like, when he says, I am always open, he is always open. It's not you're checking down and you're just getting touches.
No, he's beating guys.
You were going for the sticks and you were going for the jugular every damn time. And that's what this Bengals offense was before. And that's what made them so fun to watch.
They're explosive. They're violent. They exploit you, not just dink and dunk. It's, we're going to gash you all night long.
And to have a team that can flip that switch on, look, they did this last year, remember? It wasn't quite as awful or
it was the first
slow.
4 games trying to figure out the offensive line last year.
But it was slow, and then it started turning a corner, right? And they were revving up this engine, and that's the thing that in the NFL we always say, like, you can't waste a week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're looking at this Cincinnati team right now that's only 1 game out of first place in the AFC North.
That's the thing, is that AFC North had started off looking like, oh, you're going to have some runaways here. The Ravens have stumbled. The Browns have stumbled. Everybody's stumbled. Now 2-3 is no longer this issue. You know, the Steelers, everybody came in riding high coming into the season. They got punched in the face. Seemingly, they've found somewhat of a groove. It was ugly, but
well, Kenny Pickett not being atrocious, and that was a meltdown by Baltimore. And those are the ones that you can't
chalk up to the football gods. I don't think you really learned much from Zay Flowers dropping 2 passes.
What was it like? Of the last 42 games, there's some absurd stat in that Steelers-Ravens series where the underdog it wins like outright almost 50% of the time.
That makes sense.
It's crazy, but I think those lines have always been very tight.
Yeah.
Those two teams have so much familiarity with each other, and that's like the cool thing about the NFL is, but you have very few like real rivalries in the NFL.
That one is
a legitimate rivalry, and there is bad blood, and it feels collegiate in the rivalry style when they play against each other, and you get it 2 times a year. But the defense for Baltimore, or the defense rather for Pittsburgh against Baltimore, they came up with every big play when you needed it, and it wasn't like a Lamar Jackson just gift wrapping turnovers to the Steelers. What you saw there, and especially like when you think of the closing possessions of that game, where you get a fumble, or you get an interception, then you get a fumble, and then you get a turnover on downs. Those 3 series by the Pittsburgh Steelers defense are the type of series that kind of shift the momentum of an entire season. When you're in a tight game, when you're losing, and then you get the ball to your offense and Kenny Pickett go down and they score after you get an interception, and then you go, we're going to force a fumble, and then we're going to turn them over on downs.
Just like you drew it up.
But that is how, like, Mike Tomlin's wet dream. That
is how you draw it up if you're Mike Tomlin.
Like the final possessions of the game, we get a touchdown and a field goal on our last 2 offensive possessions, and we force 2 turnovers and hold them on downs. Like, that is Pittsburgh football. Like, Super Bowl babies, watch out. 9 months from now, you're gonna have Pittsburgh babies because of that win. All the what do they call themselves? Yinzers?
Yes.
They're gonna be. They had a great night last night.
Wrapped in terrible towels.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the other side of this is you not in this game, but the I guess the goodness of the NFL weekend is the resurgence after a punch in the mouth by the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins came out and they did some things, including breaking a 5-week record in the NFL. Or excuse me, a record through week 5.
Oh, this isn't it.
No, this is your Dolphins one.
Oh, that's not the record that they broke though.
No.
Okay, fine.
Mission accomplished. We had the whole time, the whole off season. That was our goal was output after 5 games.
And he also gave a finger guns to the reporter. So those that didn't catch that, through 5 weeks, this Miami Dolphins team has been the most productive offense based on yards in NFL history, rivaling the 99 Rams.
The greatest show on turf.
Which, when you talk about the changes in offense and everything and how much offense is we're 24 years removed. That's how different that Rams team truly was.
I saw somebody last week. They called the Dolphins the greatest show on surf.
It's pretty good.
I like
Look,
that.
if we're gonna have some appropriation, it's pretty good.
I like
Not
that. That's a really good one there. Damn. But this offense has been electric.
Turns out, if you're super fast, McDaniel will find a place for you. A-Chain broke the record this year for fastest track time. Yeah. We had our first 22-mile-per-hour ball carrier. Good Lord, 22 miles an hour?
That's
so fast.
And he is a guy who can tear a locker room apart, but they got Chase Claypool too, and he is really
also
fast.
Very fast. McDaniel was asked about adding Chase Claypool, and he said,
and he's got
size. We'll give you this one. He's very fast, guys.
I know, he's fast. But speed is something you can't defend. You cannot defend speed, especially when you have it coming from every direction on the field. And that's the beauty of what Miami does. And the way that Mike McDaniel is able to leverage speed with motion and formationally, it makes it impossible, because eventually the thing that you have to do is you have to back up. Because if you don't back up, they're going to beat you over the top. And that is where they play at such a physical form of football too, where they will just batter you between the tackles if that's the way that you're going to play. If you're going to back up, they'll kill you underneath. And that is a terrifying proposition, especially when you have a quarterback that he doesn't want to run because he doesn't want to get his brain scrambled. But when Tua gets loose, he's an effective runner as well.
He doesn't even need to, because their running backs combined for 10 yards a carry this week.
I think it is so cool to see Mike McDaniel and his personality. It shows in his team.
Yes, it does.
It isn't just like do your own job. He is a fun guy. That offense is more fun than anything you can see in the NFL. Not named the Kansas City Chiefs, but I will be very interested, because all of these yards that they put up, with the exception of the game against the Bills or the Broncos.
Oh yeah,
those yards aren't correlating to as many points as you would think.
No, they're just chewing up the field.
Yeah, they scored a 70 burger on the Denver Broncos, and this is where it's like, all right, your defense is going to have to
figure stuff out,
pony up too, because they've given up 34, they've given up 48 so far. You got to have to be better against those elite teams, and your offense has got to turn those into as many points as you're going to. They have a point differential of plus 31.
Which doesn't seem right, considering you won a game by 50.
Or, excuse me, plus 46.
Okay.
Not 31. Plus 46. But the Buffalo Bills, who are 3-2, are plus 79.
Interesting.
Right?
In a game you won by 50.
the Miami Dolphins have a win by 50 points.
And yet are under.
In our 4-1, they have a point differential of plus 46, which in the 28-point loss will definitely even things up.
It'll eat into that pretty good.
And you've got all those yards, and I think that's why Mike McDaniel's has that sarcasm in his voice. Is like,
that's
hey,
what you're out for. Is that
we're putting up yards, but we're gonna have to make this count because this is gonna be a tough schedule to finish. Because their schedule, it doesn't get any easier as you kind of go down. They still have Philly, KC, the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills again on the schedule. That's 5 really tough games that they'll have.
I mean, they're not the Giants, of which I am officially passing baton. They are the crappiest team in the NFL.
There we go.
Daniel Jones sacked 6 more times. He is getting.
Well, he's hurt now.
He's getting David Card.
Yeah, and he's hurt now.
Yeah,
he's got a neck injury.
Yeah, he's getting David Card. They probably should quite literally shut him down for the season.
And the worst part about that is that his offensive lineman Evan Neal made the flipping burgers, flipping hot dogs.
And then you came back and gave up 7 sacks.
That's right.
Can I just do some baseball?
You sure can.
Hey, it was a rough.
It
was a rough weekend for the state of Texas. They did have one redemptive quality coming out of this weekend.
We went there, huh?
Rough day for the state of Texas. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
That's that Hawaiian burger joint.
This is Oregon versus Washington week with Danny and Dusty.
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, 7 Pac-12 teams ranked in the latest AP Top 25. Washington and Oregon leading the way at number 7 and number 8. UCLA falls a spot to 10. Oregon State stays put at number 15. Utah up 2 spots to 16. UCLA back in the poll at number 18 after beating Washington State, who falls 6 spots to number 19. Those number 8 Ducks will be in Montlake to face the number 7 Huskies on Saturday, 12:30 kick on ABC. We'll have coverage right here on The Fan starting at 8 a.m. Oregon are 2.5-point underdogs. Oregon State quarterback DJ Uiagalelei named Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week after throwing for 5 touchdowns against Cal. This marks the 6th straight week a different quarterback has won the award. Week 5 in the NFL wraps up in Las Vegas with the Raiders hosting the Packers. 5:15 kick on ABC and ESPN. The Raiders are 1.5-point favorites. And both National League Division Series in action today, and a doubleheader on TBS. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland just now underway. Phillies with a 1-0 series lead at the Braves for a 3:07 first pitch. Zach Wheeler and Max Fried is your pitching matchup. Then the Dodgers look to even the series with the Diamondbacks at 1 apiece. Zach Gallen opposite Bobby Miller. That's a 6:07 first pitch. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk, Portland Sports Leader.
The Odyssey app is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, podcasts, and of course, your home for 1080 The Fan.
How does a company become number one? At Lace, it's our relentless focus on service, quality, integrity. We pick up your vehicle and drop it off anywhere in the Northwest. Handle your claim, use factory parts, manufacturer specs, pre-loss repairs. Something else many don't know. We can start on your vehicle today. There's no need to schedule. With our exclusive repair model, your vehicle gets in, gets done, gets out. Did I mention loaners and deduct assist? Lace, locally owned for 32 years, the finest in collision repair.
Okay, Carol, for our biggest cash prize ever, what is Henco?
A pet store for chickens?
No, I'm sorry. When you need a new water heater, unblock a clogged drain, anything around your home involving pipes and water.
The name to know is Henco. It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
O'Reilly Auto Parts' new Brake Best Select Pro brand raises the bar for the best aftermarket domestic brake pads and rotors available. For vehicle-specific friction formulations, Quiet-Tech noise-canceling shims, and stainless steel hardware, choose Brake Best Select Pro. Professional-grade brakes from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. What, you expecting something different?
Whether you're looking for deep, insightful dives into the day's top sports stories, that's why we have guests, right, Nigel? Or simply how to get change for 100, you'll find it on the Tony Kornheiser Show. From football picks from the best prognosticators in the business, including a monkey, to real-time baseball playoff analysis, to traffic in an area where you don't live. We got you covered. My friends come on, and you know them. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-805-9967. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-805-9967. That's 800-805-9967. Again, 800-805-9967.
Auto accident? Make the first call the most important. Call Leif's Auto Collision Centers first. Why? Because we've got your back. We'll call in the claim, pick up your vehicle anywhere in the Northwest, negotiate the repairs, fix it to factory specs. For over 30 years, Leif's has been the advocate for consumers. Other shops? They work for the insurance companies. Discount repairs, imitation parts, keeping the insurer happy. At Leif's, we place your interests first. Add loaners, deductible assistance, pickup and delivery, always on your side.
This is Oregon versus Washington Week with Danny and Dusty
Brought to you by Grillworks Supply Company.
on 1080 The Fan.
It is without question the best sports calendar of the year. Best time of the sports calendar of the year.
So fun.
Mid-October to the end of October. You got Major League Baseball playoffs, college football, NFL, basketball getting underway, by the way. But Blazers get their preseason underway tomorrow.
New Zealand Breakers.
Indeed. Texas had a rough day, or had a rough weekend. Across the board.
Yeah.
The entire state.
The whole thing, huh?
Well, except for the Rangers. The Texas Rangers.
The Astros got a split.
They got a split.
They got a split.
Okay, split.
They got a split. They got a split.
Texas Rangers are up 2-0 on the number 1 seed Baltimore Orioles, and they're beating the brakes off of them.
Yeah, this is really tough because there is being a playoff team, and then there's a winning in the playoff team. And those are two very different things. And I'll give the Rangers a ton of credit, despite the fact they melted down at the end of the season in Seattle. What ended up happening is they recentered because they've got a bunch of guys who are used to winning in the playoffs. And it's a different stage. It's a different feeling. It's a completely different approach. And you hear these guys talk about it all the time. How many great players do we see in the regular season that aren't as great in the postseason? Clayton Kershaw. How many guys are phenomenal in the postseason, but their career statistics aren't nearly as impressive for the regular season? Madison Bumgarner and Curt Schilling, right? You see this all the time in baseball, and I find it so interesting that this is the sport that kind of shows that difference between the playoffs and the regular season the most, because you play 162 regular season games, you know?
You got to prove it.
But when the bright lights are on and the pressure's ramped up, it does feel different, and it is different in the postseason. It's like these games are like college football games every time you go to a postseason baseball game. And it's a different environment to play in. It's different preparation that you're playing in. And quite honestly, that war of attrition over a 162-game season, when you get to the playoffs, your body is worn down at this point. And can you cycle it back up? right?
And it's about getting hot at the right time. We've seen this
Hot at
before.
the right time.
It's the NHL and MLB are the two sports in North America where being hot at the right time, whether it's pitching in baseball or goalies in hockey, where if you're hot at the right time, or a bat, if you're a bat at the right time, it just gets, as you're talking about the Texas Rangers, you've got Garver out there who's just hitting everything seemingly, while the Orioles are not. And that's, well, they did make up for a little bit towards the end of the game, but that felt like it was already kind of put away.
In hand.
Yeah, and that's the thing is,
But that could be momentum. Like, I mean,
you might get back on that train.
down 0-2 and heading to Texas, though. Good luck playing in the warehouse.
And they're saying that there was a miscommunication on the Gunnar Henderson steal. Okay, sure, in game one, but like, this is, the Orioles are young. This is their first time being back. They're running into it.
You hope that this is just the sign of a young team that is going through that learning process and that learning curve. But Texas, they've been impressive. I mean, you go up 2-0 and you do it in two different ways, where you kind of grind one out in game one. In game two, you open that thing up with your bats and you start pouring it on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Rangers are a dangerous playoff team, and they'd be even more freakish if they were healthy.
The flip side of this is you have arguably one of the 5 greatest regular season pitchers in baseball history in Clayton Kershaw and Los Angeles Dodgers take the mound for game 1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You had something happen that has never happened in baseball history.
What's that?
Clayton Kershaw did not record an out with the amount of runs and hits that he allowed. Neither a starter nor a reliever has ever done what he did on Saturday. He finished the game with an ERA of 1.62.
Oh, my goodness.
They ended up losing the game 11-2, and the story of Clayton Kershaw is going to be cemented, unfortunately, as the biggest discrepancy player in sports between regular season and postseason.
That's brutal, because he's so good.
He's quite
He is
literally
so
one of the
good.
5 best regular season pitchers the game has ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just truly incredible performance. And yet something happens to him in the playoffs. And I don't want to call it choking. It's something more to it than that. Like, this is Rick Ankiel forgetting how to pitch type stuff. It's more than just not being big enough for the moment. You know what I mean? Because he has delivered before.
Yeah, he has.
2017?
20. Well, they had the COVID year 2020 where there's no fans. 2017 he was good too against the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
But this has kind of always been the story of him, and like this was even more pronounced because Clayton Kershaw in his career, he has pitched 2,907 innings of baseball.
So basically 3,000 innings of baseball.
In that game against the Diamondbacks, it was the first time in his entire career that he had in one inning 6 what is considered well-hit balls off of him. 6 hard-hit balls off of him in one inning had never happened before. Dude has pitched, again, 2,907 innings in his career. And that was the first time that this is happening. And like the crazy part is like all of these things, they all just seem to pile up on him at the most inopportune times, right? Because I was reading this like left-handed bat. So a left-handed batter to hit a home run off of Clayton Kershaw in his entire career, Corbin Carroll is one of 3 lefties ever to hit a home run off of Clayton Kershaw off of his curveball, which is